Welcome, everybody, to Season 1, Episode 3 of Next Level Gamescast, a Level Up Network's monthly gaming talk show. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew. I make this show Midori, and I am joined tonight by the classy douchebag, Mike McLaughlin.
Hello, I'm Mike McLaughlin. I make the show.
What? How dare you? This is the worst start that we've ever had to an episode. We also have the tech guru, Agent Vincent.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening to you, Vince.
Thank you.
We will have the voice, Jersey Tom, in just a little bit. He's running a little bit late, but he will join us in 15 or so minutes. He'll get here in time for all the good stuff. No worries about that. To everybody in the chat, welcome to you. Razor, Geekanox, Thunder's Quiet, Empyrean Rose. Vince coming in with that resub before the stream even started. You're amazing, man. Speaking of that, if you enjoy the show at any point, everybody, please follow us live at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Also, please follow Vince and Tom on their respective channels as well. You get the links in the chat at any point. Just use !Vince or !Tom, and you'll get that link. Head over their channel, hit that follow button. If you're watching or listening to us live tonight, or as an archive, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your service of choice. And if you really enjoy the show, like Vince does, you can go above and beyond. You can hit that Twitch subscription button. You can cheer. You can tip. You can do all those kind of things. NLG After Show is a possibility tonight, as always, up to 1 hour. If you would like to learn a little bit more about that, type in !After Show in the chat. And lastly, big deal, guys. NLG is a very interactive talk show. We utilize Discord in a major way. Join us at discord.gg/Level Up Network. Become a part of this community even when the show is not live. Vince, Mike, how you guys doing tonight, in all seriousness?
Good. Chill. Good.
Mike, I know you're not feeling the best. I hope you feel better. I hope this show livens you up tonight.
Hopefully not too much. I'm literally like 10 feet from the sleeping child, so we'll see how it goes.
I love that, like, Mike has this very, like, subtle, like, whisper, but he's trying to, like, also have a little bit of energy, but he's got to keep himself low-key. You better spice it up a little bit when we get to the big stuff tonight, because we're talking about the Bethesda Microsoft acquisition finally going through. It is official. They have been welcomed to the family. So we're going to be talking about that in a big way tonight, and what it all means. We've talked about it before, but now it's like it's official, And
Yes.
they did reveal some interesting things and said some interesting things this past week. But man, it's jam-packed. We got State of Play. We got Pokemon Day. We had Square Enix Presents this week, which was actually not bad. We'll talk about that. I thought it was a cool start to them doing that. I think it was the first time they've ever done it outside of E3. So a lot of big news tonight. Last month, we also had a big episode. We were in the second episode of our big tournament to discuss the top 64 games of the decade, something that we will finalize tonight. We will decide as a community, as the Level Up Network, as Next Level Gamescast, what is the best game of the decade. So it's going to be an exciting one. Mike, I think we need to make it official, though. As always, how did we perform on last month's episode of Next Level Gamescast?
Guys, I have some bad news.
Oh, God.
Oh no.
Our viewers are just not paying attention because we have now gone 4 weeks in a row without an error, and I can't help but feel not untouchable. I think the word is infallible. I think that's the correct usage of the word right there. I think that we are so much higher, and we exceed people's expectations far more than they anticipated, that we just can't be beat. We just can't be called out, and we will never ever have to be subjected to be calling the fake fans ever again.
Look at us go, you guys.
Doing great.
We're 5 episodes into this thing. Well, tonight will be the 5th episode. And we are untouchable.
Look at us. Look at us.
Look at us. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Not me.
We're doing better than me. Great.
I knew it all along, man. Look at us. We've been into this for how long now? We've been studying this industry in and out, becoming experts of the experts of the industry. It's no surprise at all to me that we've been untouchable so far.
Anything that happens that you feel we have gotten incorrect, please do not hesitate to let us know in our Discord at the #FakeFans channel, where we will likely call you out for being as incorrect as you are. However, you are more than welcome to try to challenge us and see how that goes.
Yeah, see how that goes, guys. See how it goes. I got exciting news to share with you all. With our seasonal approach, we are doing community goals where you guys can spend your SP together, pull it all like a jackpot, and try and win some cool things. This season, we hit our community goal once again.
Wow.
A $50 PSN card giveaway happening tonight, and I'm going
guys-
to activate that right now.
Can I win this?
No, you cannot. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Not again. I won't
Theft.
allow this.
Theft.
So the way it works is anybody can get in on this as long as you're a follower. You do have to be a follower in order to get in on the $50 PSN card giveaway. But if you are a sub like Adamantium Pizza, who was just gifted a sub by Geekanox in the chat, if you are a sub, you actually get 2 extra tickets. So 3 in total tickets towards the giveaway. So before you type in !raffle in the chat over the 2 hours that this giveaway runs, maybe consider hitting that sub button first so that you get those extra tickets so that you have a better shot at the $50 PSN card giveaway. This is United States only for the card. But that being said, if you are somebody that knows me well and you've been a part of this community for a long time and you're not from the United States, get in anyway. I will Venmo you $50. I will PayPal you $50. As long as I know you and trust you, I'll find a way to get you the $50. That's to the people I'm sure you know. If you've been a part of this community for a while, you know that you can do that. So keep that in mind. I'm going to start this giveaway right now in the chat. You will see it pop up in just a second. And do it. Streamlabs, don't you screw it up on me, man.
There we go.
All right, there it is.
Now those people that typed in raffle, it did not work.
Yes, so Terrence and Geekanox, type it in again so that you now get in on the raffle giveaway. As I said, it lasts for 2 hours, so you got like the entire episode tonight to get in on that at any point. I know we'll remind you guys in the chat as well, and I hope you guys remind people in the chat that come in, like, hey guys, just so you know, there's a $50 PSN card giveaway going on right now. Why don't you jump in on that, newbies? Also hit that sub button, you know? Anyway, since Tom is a little bit behind tonight, we were going to do NLG's Got Game Now, but we can instead focus on what is coming up. Guys, this is the final episode of Season 1. It's been a great season, an absolutely fantastic season, as our first official season of Next Level Gamescast. And we are celebrating with our final merch of the season. You guys might not know about that. Type in !merch in the chat. We have the Faces of NLG t-shirt, hoodie, long t-shirt, whatever you want to get from that. You have that until the 31st, I think is what it is, right? We got 31 days in the month of March. Yes, we do. So March 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, that will expire, and it goes away forever. Forever, you guys. So this is your shots this week to get a hold of that Faces of NLG. We actually put out a lot of money making those nice avatars that we are using now on our Discord, but we think we look real sexy on that t-shirt, so we hope you guys do too and pick that up.
It's
Next
now my
season.
my image on Daniel's phone. So.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Beautiful. You look like a glorious bearded man in that avatar, man. You really do.
Thank you. I think it's the beard that really stands out.
Yes, I would say so. Yeah, I would say that's the case.
That are my eyes.
Another thing we have to announce before we get into Season 2 are the Season 1 prizes, because the top score earners of every season get prizes, specifically 1, 2, and 3, and you can choose from any of these 3 prizes. So first place gets first choice, second place gets second place, and third place gets third choice. But here are the selections. We had an amazing season, so we leveled up our gift card giveaway from $50 to $100. That is a $100 gift card, PSN, Xbox, Nintendo Switch. I will make it work however first place wants, which we have not decided yet. We still got a week left. People earning SP, earning hours. You still have 1 week plus left to try and be number 1 of Season 1. The second giveaway, we're going to continue on with our last 2 prizes of Season 0 because, in all honesty, they did very well. The $50 gift card was actually third choice last season to these 2 options, which are early access to any Season 2 merch item, which we are going to reveal in a moment. And let me tell you something, the Season 2 merch is the best yet.
Hands
it is by
down
far the
some
best
of the
yet.
best stuff we've ever made. Like, and that's going back like from Level Up Show stuff we've made.
Yes, these are great merch items, and you can choose from the first month, second month, or third month of June for this early access. Any of those items are available to you, even up to a hoodie. You can get the most expensive version of that merch item available, and we will give it to you. The third option is a reactivation of any past t-shirt. That includes Season 0 and Season 1. We still have Faces of NLG active, but both the first month of January and February are no longer available, and of course, all of the things that happened last year are no longer available. You can reactivate any of those as a t-shirt only for the third option. No, nothing else, just t-shirt only. So those are the 3 prizes available, and if I remember correctly, at this point right now, Duroc is in the number 1 spot. We've got
Ooh.
White Topaz, Sherry in number 2, and I believe Evil Resonance
Triple woo.
might be number 3. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that is the case right now. So, guys, got a little bit of time left, like 10 days, to try and become number 1. Take it away from Duroc. He's been fighting hard this season, fighting very, very hard for that number 1 spot, and it's been amazing to watch. But so many others as well. Let me give a huge shout out to King Kurt, who's decided he doesn't want to win number 1 spot this season. So he's been tipping like crazy, but giving away those seasonal points towards the community goal.
What a
Yeah.
man.
That gentleman is.
One of the major
Gentlemen.
reasons we were doing the PSN card giveaway tonight, the $50 PSN card giveaway, as a part of the community goal, was because King Kurt decided not to keep that SP and donate it towards a community goal. So
Stand-up individual.
keep that in mind. All right, let me jump over to Discord. That's how we're going to discuss Season 2 here.
Oh boy.
Show it off to you guys. Hold on one sec. Let me pull it all up here.
Pretty excited for this.
I'm very excited.
Very, very excited for this.
No surprise that me and you would be very excited
Yeah,
about this.
I
Vince.
know.
Hey, listen,
What-
this is my idea. I am very excited as well. Do not short me out on this.
Wait. What was your idea?
There is nothing about this that was your idea. What are you
This-
talking about?
This image, 100% was my idea.
Okay, images, a part of the merch, yes, but we're talking about the season as a whole, which you guys will very quickly be able to figure out, I would assume, based on these merch items. We got Next Level Gamescast, new logo, fitting of the game this season is based on. I'm sure you guys will figure that out very quickly. The number 2, Bogey Squad. I'm just going to say it. Come on, we can't even go through this without saying it. Guys, it's obviously a Metal Gear Solid season.
It's
Obviously.
glorious.
So we took that Metal Gear Solid traditional logo, we made the Next Level Gamescast version of it, and for Bogey Squad, we have updated the Bogey Squad badge, and it is directly inspired by the Foxhound classic logo. Not the classic, I should say. There is actually one prior to the one we used, but the one with the fox bent over, blade in mouth. We went with that badge to inspire the new Bogey Squad. And then, of course, number 3,
Item. Oh my gosh. I can't wait.
we had to get an updated version of the Suffer face. And on this one, it is directly inspired by Kaz from Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
Do you have the back of the shirt, though?
I can't show it here, but the back of the shirts is special because it does contain the entire Suffer quote. Why are we still here? Just to suffer. The whole thing is on the back of the shirt as well for the Suffer t-shirt on the final
Hilarious.
month. The first t-shirt, as you can see, Next Level Gamescast Metal Gear Solid logo, is the only one that is a subscriber exclusive shirt to Twitch subscribers. I mean, that is for the month of April. Bogey Squad is May, and Suffer is June. So we really, really love the merch and how it came together this season. We had some great commissions, of course, and we hope you guys take advantage of that. Links there on the Discord when it goes live later on tonight for the channel. teespring.com/stores/TLUN. As for the dedicated segments, we kind of looked at the excitement surrounding Metal Gear Solid and the movie announcements of Oscar Isaac, but also, of course, The Last of Us and all of the excitement with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. And we decided that we are going to bring back an old segment, but make it an official seasonal segment. For all 3 episodes, we will be doing Casting Call. That means that each month, we will be taking a video game. We're not going to tell you what video games they are just now, but we will be taking the primary characters and maybe even some secondary characters from these video games, and we will spend the seasonal segments coming up with the ultimate casting. We will put ourselves in the director's chair, the producer's chair, and we will decide what is the ultimate cast. Maybe we'll even decide who should be the director for these for these video game adaptations. So that is the seasonal segment for Season 2. The theme, as you guys know, is Metal Gear Solid. Same as always, seasonal points, hours, ranks, all of that will set to 0 at the start of next season. That is April 1st for the Metal Gear Solid season. You guys can check out the new ranks. Vince did a fantastic job putting them together for the Metal Gear Solid season at the link at the Google Doc. There's a lot of ranks this season that you can only achieve by being a subscriber. A lot of them. You can blame Vince for that. It's all his fault.
My fault.
It's all him.
Vince, you did a great job putting this season together. I'm going to say that right now.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
As for redemptions, we are going to make it a little bit more difficult this time around because in all honesty, you guys are smashing these community goals without a problem whatsoever. And this is even before the end of the season when you guys start really throwing your SP that you still have left over. So we're going to up that amount once again. It is no longer 200,000 points for the $50 PSN card giveaway. It is going to be 300,000 seasonal points. Working together as a community to try and achieve that $50 PSN card. Let's see if you can do it again for the 3rd time in a row on Season 2, you guys. But the collectibles, oh man, we got some good ones. Once again, Vince put together a great list here.
With some
Everything.
with
Go
some
ahead.
really good help from you guys too, because that first draft was a little rough, but I'm excited for these collectibles. These are so good. Oh my gosh.
Of course, you guys have an inventory. You can check it out with !store space inventory in the chat. And there's still 10 days left for you to pick up all of the Pokemon collectibles from this current season. But for the Metal Gear Solid season, you can get everything from Snake's Bandana, the #1, only one available, Snake's Bandana. You can get that. You could go for some dirty magazines that Snake likes to read in the lockers. Or, maybe you just want some collectible dog tags. There's 10 of them available. 1,000 SP, no big deal. Maybe you want to pick up some dog tags, some rations. Got a full list of 20 Metal Gear Solid collectibles available to you guys for the Season 2. And for the bounties, once again, a huge thank you to Rick GFN21 for coming through with some great bounties this season for you trophy hunters and achievement hunters out there. We have Bug Snacks. We got Crash Bandicoot 4, Remnant from the Ashes, Black Ops Cold War, Destruction All-Stars, Persona 5 Strikers, Maquettes. We also have, for the Tier 6 and 7, Platinum trophies available for It Takes Two, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Returnal.
Oof.
Platinum trophy for It Takes Two is 7,500 SP, and Tier 7, 10,000 SP for either 7 Remake or Returnal 7 Remake, of course, free on PS Plus this month. So take advantage of that, pick it up while you have the chance, and play one of the best games of the generation, in my opinion. But we did up, you might notice, we did up the amount of seasonal points given for every tier except for the final tier. So, for instance, Tier 1 was only 800 seasonal points in the Season 1. Now it is 1,000, and it just continues to go up 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. We want to further incentivize you guys to take advantage of the off-stream activities to get yourself some seasonal points. And that is why we decided to get rid of the photo contest, because it didn't work out. You guys didn't take advantage of it in the way we were hoping, and that's okay. That's on us. We didn't provide you with something exciting enough to hook you. That being said, we did have 3 people that took part in the photo contest, and we do need to give some seasonal points to the #1, #2, and #3 spot. In first place, actually start with 3rd place. We'll go down to 1. In 3rd place for his black and white photo, really solid stuff, Johnny Poolside will get 1,000 SP. Way to go, Johnny. I'm not sure if he's in the
Yay,
chat.
the best loser.
Johnny, are you in there, Johnny? Is Johnny with an H or an N? I always forget.
I think he does it H-N-N-Y.
I'll give it to him later because I don't see him right now.
Okay.
In 2nd place for his friendship photo, I really liked it. It was the first one submitted, and it's Miles standing, you're sort of clinging to the wall, looking directly at the statue of Stanley. I thought it was a really great photo, especially for the theme of friendship. In 2nd place, we have Rick GFN21 getting 1,500 SP. Is he here yet? No, but I do know his handle, so I can give that to him. And in 1st place for a great Starry Night submittal, just beautiful use of depth of field to blur out all the stars and the highlights in the background, have Miles, cornered in great composition. Flames to Earth came through with the #1 photo of this season, getting 2,500 SP. I do know his handle as well, so I will give it to him now. Way to go. Thank you so much for taking part, you guys. Appreciate it. But, like we said, it wasn't what you guys wanted. So, we are going to change things up with another contest. This time around, it is going to be focused on clips. So, we're going to create a dedicated clip contest channel on our Discord. But we're going to really be looking at all these ourselves every month. Each month of Season 2 will have a #1 clip of the season. And that person will get 5,000 seasonal points.
Wow.
Now, a lot of clips are made every season. And a lot of them are just made through the clip command. So what I would recommend to you guys, if you are clippers, if you're somebody that likes to archive those great moments, for these months of Season 2, I suggest that you take a step up and do not use the clip command. I suggest that you go in and you edit that clip. You finesse it to perfectly encapsulate the moment, whether it be 8 seconds or 20 seconds or 35, whatever it is. Perfectly encapsulate that moment and title it in an appropriate way. Either with something snarky or clever, something to grab attention. Put a little bit more work into your clips this season, and make sure if you do that to post the link to the hashtag clip contest channel on our Discord to give us that reminder so that we take notice of it. Like I said, we're going to go through the clips every season no matter what, but you can give yourself a better shot by titling it, by cropping it, by putting it on the hashtag clip contest channel on our Discord. So many people already do clipping. We love it. It's a way to archive great moments. We're just asking you guys to take it a little bit further this season. It's something that we thought could be great for a contest because it's relatively easy for you guys to do. And we hope to see a lot more activity in the clip contest than we did with the photo contest. But you know, we'll change things up again if that's not the case. We'll continue to adjust and adapt as time moves on. But that is Season 2 of Next Level Gamescast. We hope you guys love it. Don't forget to take advantage of the interactive segments, fake fans, NLG Got Game, Halftime Hedge, all of that. And of course, suggestions, feedback if you want to improve the show and try and adjust things for Season 3 eventually as well.
Yeah.
There you have it. I'm excited. I'm very excited. All right.
Me too.
I think Tom is available because I see
Oh,
him
hey!
He is.
Oh, there he is.
There
Yes.
I am.
Just staying silent. So silent. Let me get you up. Do you have your camera on?
Look, you had a whole thing going, so I didn't want to disrespect you in that way.
Oh, never. You could never disrespect us.
No, that's true. I do have my camera going.
Then I will get it turned on for you. There you go. Welcome to
Oh.
the show, Tom. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, friends. Hope everybody else is doing okay out there. Sorry, everybody, just running a little bit late. Had some
No
things,
worries, man. You
but
got it
I am
here
now
in time for the good stuff. Yeah.
The good stuff. Well, the good stuff was the Suffer T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's the real good stuff.
Oh,
Yes. That magical voice is here, Dark Passenger. That's right.
That's right.
You came just in time because we are going to do our second month of NLG's Got Game, and we were so happy with last month. It was just so much fun adapting Jeopardy for our format and doing some cool stuff. A big thank you, of course, last month to They Call Me Denny coming through with a lot of trivia. I decided to do this all myself this month and try and switch things up and add some new categories. And I'm hoping we can have a better version of it this month than we did last month. Hopefully with you guys being able to make it work on your end, seeing the board. I did some tweaks. So hopefully we can make it work perfectly this time. All right, so this season we have, or this month I should say, Guess the SFX,
oh boy.
video game developers,
Oh boy.
gaming gadgets,
Double.
title by emoji,
Ugh.
and the return of blurred box art.
Potent
Vince, you are the
potables.
returning champion. I believe that means that you go first, if in Jeopardy rules, if I remember correctly.
That seems fair.
Okay.
Oh.
Vince, you are ready to go.
So much pressure. Let's start with let's just open it up. Let's do blurred box art 2 for 300.
Boom. Vince,
Ah,
What?
What? Get out of here.
what?
Like nuts. What is-
Psychonauts is correct. Vince off to a good start. Go ahead, Vince.
You know what? Let's just do blurred box art for 400.
Tom.
What is Bioshock?
That is correct.
It's Tom.
Nice job, Tom. Go
There
ahead,
you
Tom.
Blurred box art for 5.
You guys love that blurred box art, don't
Oh,
you?
I love it so much.
Vince.
Ah, damn you, Vince.
Get the fuck out of here.
What is Heavy Rain is correct.
I love how Mike is so.
I'm
Am I
surprised
like-
you guys got that so fast. That was
Am I
really
like on a
good.
delay? What the hell's going on?
That was really fast.
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
really put a lot of
shocked,
pixelation on that one too. All right, Vince, you are up.
Just do blurred box art for 200.
There you
Thanks,
go, Mike.
All right, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Incorrect.
4. Actually, I'm sorry.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
All right, fuck you. guys.
Tom,
Grand Theft Auto 4.
that is correct. Go ahead, Tom. You're up again.
Blurred box art for 1. Let's clear it.
Tom,
What is Far Cry?
that is correct. All right, Tom, you're up again.
Okay, let's go with gaming gadgets for 3.
Use of the controller pictured here with all 44 inputs. I don't have the controller, but was mandatory in order to play this game. You should know, just based off 44 inputs. Mike.
Wasn't it Warhead?
Nope, not Warhead.
I
I don't know this. I'll straight up say it. I don't know it.
44 inputs, Tom.
What is shoot? I know this. What is
You lost, man.
Metal
It's too
Slug?
long.
Metal Slug. It's not Metal
It is
Slug, but it's
Steel Battalion.
Steel Battalion.
Damn it.
F. I knew it was Steel Battalion.
Yeah,
Warhead was the,
44
arcade
inputs.
version.
Because I knew it was going to stay up there and get me. But yeah, that is a massive, amazing controller, and I love it.
Tom, you are
and
up
I
again.
talk about it a lot, but I blew it. All right,
okay,
let's
man.
go with 400.
A dud if there ever was one. The Power Glove was an NES peripheral created by this toy company.
Ooh.
8 seconds. Anybody?
Oh man.
2, 1. Nope. All right. The answer
Mattel?
is Mattel.
Oh my God, I wanted to say Mattel, but
I literally just said it too.
But you didn't. Tom, you're up again.
all right, we're leaving that. We're gonna go guess the sound effects for 3.
Okay. You guys got to play it on your end too.
Mm-mm.
Anybody? Come on. I'm disappointed in one person in particular right now.
And
Mike.
is it-
Is that Killzone?
That is, but can you go a little further?
Oh, the headshot noise?
No, I mean which Killzone?
Oh, Killzone 2.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Killzone 2.
on time.
I was gonna say, Mike, that was like your favorite death besound ever.
It's
You better get
really
that.
good, but it's really weird hearing it out of context.
Yeah.
Mike, you're up.
Oh, I actually get to succeed at something for once. All right.
Yes, you
Do
do.
it.
All right. You know what? Let's do title by emoji for 500.
Okay.
Ooh.
Anybody? 9 seconds. Mike,
Oh shoot.
why'd you do this to yourself, man?
Fatal Frame.
No.
That
Good
was
guess,
what I
though.
was thinking.
A good
Mike,
guess.
So I don't blame you on that.
A good guess. That is it. It is Silent Hill, guys.
Oh,
that's good. That's good. I
the
like
best
that.
thing you had for Hill.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
All right. Mike, you're up again.
Oh, my turn again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Let's do title by emoji for 400.
I love this so much.
Oh my God. You had fun with this, didn't you?
I did. Nobody, come on! I put all this work into this.
And I'm usually good at these ones.
Nobody. All right. The answer is Bloodborne.
Oh,
God damn it.
oh my
Blood
God.
and a baby giving
Oh
birth,
my
or a
God.
woman giving a baby. Come on. Come on now, guys. Come on.
We gotta think outside.
We gotta step
the
this up a
box
little
here.
bit here. Come on now.
That's
We're
the-
supposed to be
apparently.
we're supposed to be the experts. Let's go. Let's go.
All right.
I expect better from you. Mike, you're up again.
All right, video game developers for 3.
Video game developers for 3. Batman Arkham Origins. Vince,
What is Warner Brothers Montreal?
that is correct. Vince, you are up.
Let's do video game developers for 500.
Rocket League. Mike.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah.
I literally had it. I
You
was
do this a
literally
lot,
just saying
man.
it. God damn it!
Nope.
All right, pass.
Vince,
What is Psionics?
that is correct.
God damn it! I literally just said it. Too.
Vince,
I'll do. Let's do video game developers for 400.
BioShock Infinite. Vince,
Fuck. What is it? God damn it! I just did it to myself now. What is
Yeah. How about that?
2K?
Sucks. No, it's not.
no, sorry.
No, go for
It,
it.
it, yeah, there's a good point that Guitar Freak makes in chat. We're talking about the primary developer here.
You get wrecked, Vince.
That is Irrational Games.
Irrational. Damn it.
Vince, you're up.
I'm up again.
Yep.
Let's do. Gaming Gadgets 100.
Okay. Released on 7th generation consoles, this controller pictured here was used with this video game. Mike,
DJ Hero.
that is correct.
Yeah, you did it, Mike. You did
You
it.
did it, man. You did it.
There you
Only
go, Mike.
1,100 in
Hold
debt.
on, how was I
You're up.
negative 1,200? What the hell
Yeah,
happened
I
there?
got-
You've
I
really
got
fucked up,
something.
man. Excuse my French. Go ahead, Mike.
We've all dropped.
All right. Guess this SFX for 400.
Okay. Go ahead and play, you guys. Go ahead, Tom.
What is Mega Man 1?
That is fine. It is. They all kind of use the same sound
Yeah.
for the most part. Mega Man, I will take. Go
Okay.
ahead, Tom.
Let's go title by emoji for 3.
Vince,
What is Big Planet?
say it again.
Little Big Planet?
That is correct.
Nice.
Good job, Vince. Good job, man.
Smart.
Vince, go ahead. You're up.
Let's do title by emoji for 200.
Mike,
Dragon Age.
that is correct.
Oh, okay.
Mike,
All right,
you're
let's
up.
Clear it off. Let's do title by emoji for 1.
Tom,
Gears of War.
that is correct.
Yes.
Easy one.
Very nice.
All right, Tom, you're up.
Let's go gaming gadgets for 5.
A skateboard peripheral, not too different in concept from the Wii Fit board, was the only control method for this failing entry in a long-running video game series.
I know it, and I can't think of what it is.
Tom?
What is Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam?
Ah, damn it. It's not Downhill Jam, though.
No, it is not
It's
downhill.
not
Ah!
Downhill Jam.
Good guess,
Shoot.
but that
Oh,
is
man, I
incorrect.
know. Oh, man, what is it? It's.
It's too late. It is Tony Hawk Ride.
Right. Damn it.
Right, of course.
Yes. Good guess, though. Downhill Jam was a good guess. Who is up? That
was
is
Tom.
Tom.
I think it's
Go
me
ahead,
again.
Tom.
Guess the sound effects for 5. I got to make up some ground.
Go ahead.
What the shit?
Anybody? 5 seconds. Nope. All right. That is a head crab from Half-Life.
Oh my god.
All right. Tom, you're up again.
I pretty much have no room for error. I have to get everything.
Yeah, you got to really start stepping it up, Tom.
Gaming gadgets for 2.
This Philips product released with Hotel Mario was a complete and utter failure.
Oh wow.
You know what?
I wanna
Fuck
say-
it. What do I have to lose? Was it,
So much cursing tonight. Go ahead, Mike.
was it a concierge bell?
No. 1 second. Nope. It is the CDI, guys. Philips
Yeah.
CDI. Terrible Zelda games, terrible Mario game.
Yes.
I
One of
think that's
Nintendo's
a
big
very
flounders.
missed
I didn't think it
opportunity.
sold with it though. That's where my
It did, yeah. That came with Hotel Mario.
Like, think of
And
it. Imagine
you're
if they
up
created
again.
a Hotel Mario
All right,
game and it was
let's
a
go with guess the
concierge
sound
bell.
effects for 2.
That is the Daily Double.
So how we're working this daily double? Do I got to make a wager?
No, it is just double the amount.
Oh, it's just full. Okay.
Well, Mike went in actually, so I guess it doesn't work with it sticks to you. So Mike did not answer. Did you have an answer, Mike?
Wait, what?
Go ahead. Do you have you buzzed? Did you have an answer?
Oh, wasn't that Pac-Man?
I believe it is. No, it's not.
No, it's Duck Hunt.
It's Duck Hunt.
God damn it,
Sorry,
that was
it
my
was
fault.
too late.
Dude,
They're both the same thing.
I was about to answer the question.
Well, it was already too late, and
Oh, was it?
and Mike, yeah, it was too late. The timer ran out. Go ahead, Tom. You're up again.
All right, sound effects for one.
Okay, go ahead. Anybody? Tom?
Dude,
Is it a Minecraft zombie?
No.
I think that's.
Buzz then, Mike. Go ahead.
Isn't that the one creature from Doom?
That
The
is
brown
correct.
thing?
It is Doom.
Oh, you're right.
Wow,
It
you
is
did
Doom. Way to go. All right, Mike, you're up.
Video game developers for 2.
Until Dawn. Vince.
What is Supermassive Games?
Yes. And Vince is untouchable now. He cannot be beaten, but go ahead, Vince.
Video game developers for 100, I guess.
Go ahead. Apex Legends. Tom.
Who is Respawn Entertainment?
That is correct. All right, so even though this game is over, there is no catching Vince unless he's a complete idiot with how he does Final Jeopardy or whatever it's called. Let's move on to it. Sometimes time is everything. This is how long in-game that you have to stop the moon from colliding with the Earth in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Put in your wagers. All right. Mike, I don't think you can, but go ahead.
It won't let me put in anything.
It won't let you put in everything. Really? It won't. You did last month. Okay, there we go. All right. And for some reason, it's doing it again. But okay, Vince has wagered 100, and his answer, 3 days. That is correct, Vince. Way to go, man. So he gets another 100. Way to go, Vince. Going over to Tom. He wagered 400, and his answer, 3 days. Way to go, Tom.
It's Tom.
Look at
Bringing
me.
himself up to 800. And Mike, did you put in an answer?
No, I did not.
You did not. Okay. He
Loser.
knew he was done for. So Mike loses nothing, stays at negative 1,400. 3 days was the correct answer. Way to go. And the winner, once again in Jeopardy, Vince.
Here's the thing. I had no idea about the gaming gadgets, guys. I had no idea. That could have been wow. I didn't even know. I learned things.
Steel Battalion, I knew, but I started blanking on it.
What sucks is
I-
there was a game in the arcade called Warhead, which is the exact same thing as Steel Battalion.
Okay, time out though. What is Steel Battalion? Someone needs to explain this to me.
Look it up, dude. It's
Steel
ridiculous.
Battalion is not too different from like Front Mission in that you're essentially playing in a mech. What made Steel Battalion so crazy is that it was essentially the simulation of operating a mech. So if you did not make sure you checked your exhaust, used your windshield wipers, and did everything possible to make sure that thing ran correctly, it's basically like doing Flight Simulator, but to the nth degree.
I think he's looking it up right now, aren't you?
that.
It's crazy. It's a crazy controller. The whole thing together cost like $200, I think.
Yes, it did.
And it
The thing
did
took-
terrible.
Yeah, of course. Because
Of
what are you
course, nobody wanted to
supposed
spend
do with that
$200 on one game.
Why would what?
And I think it was Capcom, wasn't it?
Because no, that's not Capcom. I want to say it's Konami.
Yeah, you might be right. It might be Konami. But it's not like a real small, it's like a, relatively big publisher
No, yeah. I mean,
that did it all.
Vince,
Yeah.
legitimately, the thing is the size of like take the Rock Band drum set and like stack like 3 of them on each other,
Wow.
and that's basically like the size of this thing.
I
Yeah, man.
learned things tonight. I
Yes, you
learned
did.
this show's educational, everyone.
Damn right it is, man. Damn right. All right, so we're behind, so we're gonna kind of go through what you've been playing a little bit fast here. I'm gonna start off. I want to talk with you, Vince,
Yeah.
together about Little Nightmares. We've both now played Little Nightmares, specifically the first one. I went through Little Nightmares 2. You saw a good bit of Little Nightmares 2, but
Yeah.
I want to start with you kind of and talk about Little Nightmares 1. How'd you feel about it?
I liked it. I got on the PlayStation sale for $7.99 for everything. It was the game and the DLC, so I ran through all of it, and I enjoyed it. It was a weird title though for me because it was like, I don't know if there was like a lot of like, like people like hype up something like that, and you kind of play and you're kind of like, I don't quite understand why this is so beloved. There's kind of like a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Because it was a weird controlling game. I didn't really care for how it was how it controlled.
The second one's the same way, as I talked about last month. It's a little cumbersome for sure. At the same time, though, I'm not sure that the game is like that loved. It's got, it's like an 80s kind of game. I mean, as far as rating goes, and I feel like most people seem to say that. So I'm a little surprised that you were that hyped on it, but that's a little disappointing actually that you were so hyped.
Well, I mean, it was no. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I definitely loved the base game for sure. Like the base game was awesome. The DLC is kind of where I had most of my frustrations. The first episode I really enjoyed. The second episode I did not like at all. I thought it was way too long. I did not enjoy the puzzle aspect of it. I didn't care for escorting the stuff. It just didn't click with me.
Yeah, I agree. The DLC was definitely weaker than the main game.
But then the third episode I thought was fun too. So it was just and what was weird for me too was like, hearing you guys refer to like the characters' names and everything like that. And I thought there'd be more environmental storytelling, and there really isn't. So I was kind of confused a little bit on that. I was like, I couldn't really keep up with what was going on. It just kind of felt like I kept getting shuffled over, and that's where I wasn't learning what was going on.
Now, have you done any research like into the theories and all that yet?
That's the thing, is where I was like, there wasn't a drive to do that because again, there was nothing for me to really latch onto. It was.
You might be surprised though how much environmental storytelling actually is there once you start doing some research. Because I was surprised myself how much I missed.
Okay, I mean that's cool. No, it's weird to me that the game isn't a little bit more forthcoming with that, I guess.
Yeah.
And that seems weird to me. But then moving on to you with Little Nightmares 2, I saw the end of that. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I like Little Nightmares 2 more than I like the first game.
Okay.
And that has a lot to do with the relationship between the characters in the second game.
Okay.
I really latched onto that. And Bag Boy, as I call him, I was like all in on that character. I wanted like the best for him. I don't want to spoil it necessarily, but it's called Little Nightmares. The first game doesn't end on a happy note. I'll just say the second game doesn't end on a happy note either. I kind of feel like that's just the future of this franchise, is maybe always to be like Black Mirror, where it kind of does a gut punch at the end. I'm not faulting it for that. That's what this series is. I do agree, and I think the first game and the second game have that problem of cumbersome controls, it not recognizing when you're trying to do certain things, specifically, as I talked about last month, getting into tunnels, which happens so often, like that your character doesn't go in and then you die, and it's an undeserved death in a game that's entirely based on learning from your mistakes, trial and error. That's like the worst possible thing. So that is a big problem with the series as a whole. It is, for me, overcome by what I think is very strong atmosphere, what I do think is some great environmental storytelling myself, and in the second game specifically, characters that I care about, even Six, who how do you feel about Six after the first game with what she did at the end?
Again, it was weird to me because it was like I didn't sort of not care. There's a word here, like there's just a disconnect there. It's like I just viewed it and I was just like, okay, it happened. And especially if you're talking about the incident with the one gnome, it just felt like it was supposed to be more like shock, and it was just like that didn't really work for me, if that makes sense. But again, because I didn't have that connection there, I don't know how to really explain that. If I'm hoping I'm coming kind of.
I mean, that's the way it works. I mean, you either connect with the game or you don't. Like, everybody's different, and you didn't connect with this one, and that's going to hurt your experience in a major way, because it's not breaking ground in mechanics or its puzzles even. It's got some clever puzzles, don't get me wrong, but it's not doing anything, crazy, miraculously new or anything like that. So if you're not really connecting with the characters or the story that is telling in an ambiguous way, I don't think the game is really going to work that well for you. So I think that's kind of what happened here in this case. If you had to give it a rating, I'm curious, what would you give the first game?
It would be, for me, it would be like a silver, straight up a silver game, nothing.
Yeah, I think the first game I would give a silver as well, whereas the second game I think I would give gold.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Might have to play through number 2 then at some point. Even though I have seen the ending from you, I do want to play it because it does look a little bit more like a step up.
I'd recommend it. I do. Now that you played the first game, I feel like you got to see the story through. They're not long games. Maybe wait for a sale, of course.
Yeah.
But they're not long games. It's a nice, quick experience. Doesn't overstay its welcome, in my opinion. Moving on to you, Mike. Let's talk about Outriders, man.
Yeah, man. I was very happy jumping in on this because it was one of those things where I was definitely hyping it up for some time, and I was starting to get concerned that I was overhyping it in my head. The more and more I saw, and I booted up the game, and I will tell you, for anybody that hasn't tried the demo or anybody that has only tried the beginning of the demo and then noped the heck out of it, first off, I don't blame you, and secondly, this is hands down one of the worst openings for a game
Oh my god.
that Vince and
That-
I have both experienced.
More than Anthem.
And it, oh yeah, far more than Anthem. Because at least with Anthem, it had some excitement. And there was a reason why it was getting you used to controls because things like the flight mechanics and stuff like that were different. This game at the very beginning, realistically, I mean, it's a fun game. It does some things that are slightly different, but not overwhelmingly to where you couldn't figure it out. And it basically treats you worse than Nintendo's first party titles hold your hand. And
I know you
it's
hate
just,
that so much.
oh my god, it's just a freaking slog. Like
Narrative standpoint,
ah,
game it's bad. Like it reminds me of like early gen like PS3, 360 with the way they're like, okay, if you've never held
Reggie.
a controller before, let's do that. It's that. It is.
Mm.
Oof.
like it makes me miss Halo 1 or Halo 2 when you're in the ship and it's like look left, look right, look up. Okay, good job, Chief. Yeah, like I prefer that to what we got with this. It is very and the seeing the maps that they gave us, the levels or the stages, I guess you can call them, were boring. They weren't fun to play, and it was tedious. To where I'm actually extremely thankful because once you play through it the first time, you never have to do it again. So even if you create 4 different characters or all 6 for all the slots that you get, you only have to play that intro once, which thank God.
Okay.
But out with the bad, the good is there is something great here, and I'm very excited for that. The story is nothing to write home about. Vince hit the nail on the head. It's very PS3 early days where everything is gray and edgy to an extent. But the different classes have such unique and cool abilities, and the weaponry that you get. Every gun it plays like a Gears of War game. And the best description, because before going in, it was like, oh, it's like Destiny. Oh, it's like, yeah, no, it is Gears of War. Looked at the vision and was like, oh, I think we can do that, and try to do something like that, but like with like Anthony, and supernatural powers. So it feels, and you run around, you go into cover, you shoot just like you would a Gears of War game, but they really want you to get in the shit. And just kind of go run in, hit some people, throw some abilities up, shoot some people down and run to another one. And the weaponry actually affects your skills as well, like any good loot game would. And there's so many different complex systems in there that in theory will work pretty well when they unlock them. Unfortunately, crafting wasn't enabled for it. But you can see with some of the legendary weapons and even some of the basic skills how it can help that. One of my skills that I had for one of the classes I chose was just Pyromancer. When you hit somebody, you tag them. And so one of my skills was when you shoot a person, you tag them, and when you hit somebody with a power and they die from that, they explode, and if they explode while tagged, they tag the people near them. So you can essentially make like a domino situation with the enemies in the room, and kind of destroy people and wipe out rooms. It's very similar to the monk class in Diablo 3. So it's something very exciting to me because the way that you approach levels and missions after the first time you beat them is also similar to something like you would in Diablo, where you can kind of just go in, do your shit, hopefully some loot drops for you, and then get out. Unlike Division or Destiny, where you have to kind of play through the entire mission again. In this, you can kind of go in, get your shit, and get out again. So there's a lot of potential here, and I'm really excited to jump in and dive in.
A lot of people played it.
First.
A lot of people, and
yeah,
if people are positive on it in the way that you are, based on that and how many people played it, Square Enix might have a pretty successful game on their hands.
Yeah, right now it's love or hate. You either love the demo and can't wait to get back in, or you hated it and you don't want anything to do with it, which I understand. It's fine. And the only thing I'll say, because I want to talk about more when the game is released, the last thing I want to touch on is this is the way to do a demo or a beta or whatever the hell you want to call it. They did it right. They didn't overpromise. They said, listen, this is not a live service game. It is what it is, and waited to see the feedback before they promised more content. And then on top of that, the demo itself was free to everybody. Your progress transferred over, and they didn't lock out almost anything. They only locked out certain weird things like crafting, which could, change the dynamic of the game. Otherwise, everything was there for you, so you can get a full taste of it. That is how you do a demo, 100%. And other companies, I hope, follow suit.
There you go. Vince, let's head back to you. You didn't just play Little Nightmares this month. You also played another platformer.
I did play a little platformer. I'm going to blaze through this real quick. Because it's Sackboy. Big Adventure. Solid title. Loved it. I love the music levels. The music levels by far the best levels in the game, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Having a level, I don't even like Bruno Mars, and having a level that's actually got funk playing.
I've seen that. Yep.
Like, all right, guys, you got me. There's some really great songs there. But it was very solid, and I mean, it's kind of amazing to be jumping in and out of a level within like 3 seconds. It was pretty amazing the entire time. I just kept flying through that game, and there was like not really a load time.
Now, I've seen some high praise for this game, actually, like some really high praise, especially as a launch title platformer. I mean, who do you think this game is for?
I actually honestly think this is a game for like, a lot of families. I think it's actually for anyone who wants a platformer. Like if you really enjoyed Astros and you want more platforming, this is the game to get, because it's very reminiscent of the, I want to say more like a 3D Mario World in that type of sense.
Mm-hmm.
But the levels don't overstay their welcome. They're all really short. Like I want to say within like 5 minutes at the most if you speed run through it, and there's secrets and everything like that, like a classic Little Big Planet level, and the story is kind of fun. There's some really good voice acting. The score is really good in my opinion. It's very just, I don't know. It's a like kind of a love product, and I feel like the game needs a little bit more success.
I don't know how well it's doing. Everybody that has played it has at least been positive on it. It said it's like very charming, great music, great launch title. I think I wouldn't spend $60 on it or 50, whatever it is. I will get it down the line though, because I do think it's one of those titles that Evie will be able to play, and I think I would enjoy playing it with her. I love Sackboy. And yeah, I'll be in there eventually. I just think right now it's a little too high in price. I could see it being a PS Plus title in the near future as well.
Yep.
It's gonna happen.
Or now title.
Yeah, maybe. Exactly. And moving on to you, Tom, we got to wrap up your playthrough of The Last Guardian. Finally, did it ultimately climb a little bit for you?
It climbed a little bit for me, but the funny thing is like I kept getting frustrated because you still had problems, I felt, with controlling Trico.
Okay.
Like beyond that, like it got better, but I was still having issues with that, and I kept thinking back to it, and I kept thinking back to the fact that you have this trophy for a speed run with The Last Guardian, and I'm like, how the hell is anybody completing this speed run? We're trying to get Trico to do anything that you tell it to do. It's like I kept trying to and stuff that like made sense to me, and it's like, okay, I need you to just do this, please, for the love of God, just do this, and then it takes inevitably an extra like 2 or 3 minutes to try and like get it so that Trico positions itself like just the right way so that it jumps up on a ledge so it can give you a boost. It's as much as the narrative is crafted extremely well, the problem is that the gameplay, unfortunately, does not do its service. As I found, it's still. I'm not going to say that it's still a very good game. It's still free, I believe, through the PlayStation Plus Instant Game Collection. So I would still recommend playing it, but you got to have patience with it because there's stuff that's going to snap for you immediately, but the game is not going to allow you to do the thing that you want to do immediately. Are
you a fan of Team Ico's games?
I'm a fan of it. It's just when I'm playing a game, I generally would like to be able to, when I'm trying to like tell somebody to go do something, I like to have more instant response to that, or at least
I can understand that, yeah.
Or at least when like somebody doesn't know what I'm referring to, they at least ask the question, and I can at least like try to do it. Like the most is when I get the child to to point, like tap his feet on Trico's head and point in the direction that he wants to go, and Trico does not do anything remotely close to what you need him to do. And as a matter of fact, he goes backwards. That's when it starts getting a bit frustrating to get through. So
yeah, I don't remember myself having that kind of experience. I don't know if I got lucky or what.
I think it's going to be varied. It's 100% because I think that all the things that I experienced are 100%. Just luck of the draw, and I think that's the biggest issue with this is that a lot of it's luck of the draw with whether or not Trico actually pays attention to what you're trying to tell it to do.
Yeah.
But that being said, the narrative is still very well done. The late game reveal at the end of that game about what is actually, it's not like hugely like narratively of narrative importance, but it is like a very fine detail that you're just like, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's certain things there that like were nice little touches to me that like really, like I'm gonna think about this game. I'm not gonna tell you that like, oh, this is a forgettable game. It's definitely not forgettable. But you're going to, like I said, the gameplay of it is going to probably leave some people wanting. Other ones need to be more patient with it as they go forward.
Yeah, I think no matter what, you have to be patient. It's one of those games where it's built into it to a certain extent,
Right.
no matter what. Especially at the beginning, he intentionally does not listen to you a lot of the time at the beginning. For me personally, I felt that process where we connected and he started listening to me. That did work for me, and maybe I got lucky, and maybe you didn't. I'm not sure, but for me, narratively, it's actually my favorite Team Eco game. So at least
Right,
I'm glad
and
you
I
at
can
least
see
enjoyed
that.
that.
I can see that 100%. Narratively speaking, it's a fantastic game.
But you also played another PS Plus title this month,
I
Concrete
actually
Genie.
played two. I didn't throw this into the rundown, so I'm going to talk about both of these things very quickly. The first is Concrete Genie. I played. Concrete Genie was an indie game that came out a few years ago. And I actually didn't realize, and the reason why I'm going to bring up both of these games and the common theme of them is they were sub 5-hour games. I was able to beat both of these things in a single session. Concrete Genie, absolutely beautiful game. I loved everything that they did with it. I could see that game, and I was saying to people who were watching my stream, catch me at Jersey_Tom on Twitch. Those of us who were in the chat, I could absolutely see this as being like a Pixar game, Pixar movie, or a DreamWorks movie, or of some kind. Like I could see this coming out as a fully realized movie because of the wonderful animation that they did with it, the gorgeous colors, the art that they did with it. That it seems all very crude, but it's crude in the way that a child writing in his sketchbook, drawing little monsters for themselves would draw it. Like so, it's very believable that this this kid Ash would draw monsters this way. Kind of like gave a lot of I would say Where the Wild Things Are kind of vibe.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
So I thought the narrative for this game was fantastic. I would have thought that they would have had you do more free drawing in this, but they don't. Which for me, a guy who lacks a lot of artistic talent, I didn't mind so much. But I will think that if you're going into this game thinking that it is going to be heavily you drawing, that's not what it is. It's more like manipulating stickers, more or less.
Okay.
On the walls. It definitely gets treated a lot more like that. But this is another game where they have like a late game reveal, and it does one of those things that I love, and it's not too much of a spoiler. I'm not going to go too in depth on this, but one of the things it does is it does a late game mechanic reveal, and it completely like throws in a completely new game or at least a slate of new game mechanics on you, and you're just like, oh shoot, this is getting serious now. Like we could tell that we're getting into the third act now. I'm learning these things.
Nice. Very cool.
So I thought that was a really cool thing they did. And real quick, because there's not much to say about it, this is one of those games that you just have to play and not have anybody tell you what to expect. I played Maquette because that's free this month. Maquette is a wonderful little puzzle game. Plays with perspectives a lot. Some of the puzzles, King Kurt can King Kurt can vouch for me on this one because he played through it as well. Some of the puzzles can be a little bit obtuse.
Yep.
But again, it's perspective things. You got to think outside the box a little bit with some of the things you're doing. Because like the first 30 minutes, like I was getting the answers to the puzzles like rattling it off right away. Like I thought I was speed running this game, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, and I had to scratch my head for probably like 10 minutes trying to figure out what am I supposed to do here. And then you get the answer is like, oh, of course, like I didn't think about this. I didn't think about like this thing with the perspectives and everything else like that. So that I highly recommend. The narrative of that game hit me with something a bit personal to me that had happened in my life, because there's an overarching narrative surrounding everything that you're doing and everything that gets revealed as you complete these puzzles and move on through the world. So for me, it touched a nerve with me. I connected more with Maquette than I did Last Guardian, oddly enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say definitely play Maquette. Another beautifully done game. And I'd say anybody who's fans of like puzzle rooms and anything like that, I think you'll love Maquette.
Nice. Yeah, I keep hearing good things about that one, and
yeah,
I think it's one I'm gonna have to do myself
and again,
off stream. But I will.
Even with those puzzles, Drew, you could get done with it in about 4.5 hours, if that. I think my stream was legitimately 4.5 hours.
I will eventually get around to that one. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, do some wheel spins during that. When we come back, we're going to get into a big level update this month, including that discussion on Bethesda joining Microsoft's family. So hold on tight, King Kurt. We will be right back.
Yeah, King Kurt.
Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 3 of Next Level Gamescast, the Level Up Network's monthly gaming talk show, live here on Twitch at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show on the third Sunday of every month. Make sure you never miss an episode. Hit that heart button and turn on notifications so you get alerts whenever we go live with either variety gaming or talk shows. Of course, do the same for Vince and Tom as well. They are great streamers on their channels. Type in !Vince in the chat or !Tom in the chat to get their respective channels. If you're watching or listening to this as an archive, subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/The Level Up Network and follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We are doing podcasts now. It is new for us, so take advantage of that. Even if you aren't somebody who listens to podcasts, I would really appreciate if you guys go on Spotify and just hit that follow button, get our numbers up a little bit. Maybe we can get a little bit of traction there. We still haven't been able to get it going just yet, so we would appreciate any help we can get with that. And of course, become a part of the community even when we are not live on Discord at discord.gg/The Level Up Network. We're now going to move on to our discussion of the month's biggest gaming industry news. It is called The Level Update. I literally had this commission. You guys sing over it every time. I hate you guys so much. All right, I'm going to start off, and no surprise, I'm going to talk about Final Fantasy, you guys. It's been a weird month, because the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy VII in general didn't just get one game announced, it got 3 games announced this month. And 2 of them are just so surprising. Let's start with the one that isn't surprising, because everybody saw it coming. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Maybe you didn't see that name coming, but everybody knew there would be a PS5 update for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I want to know who did see that name coming.
Nobody.
There has to be somebody.
Nobody.
That was like, oh, you know what they're going to choose? Intergrade.
I think Square Enix prides themselves on making sure nobody can guess what their subtitles are going to be. That's like their job.
It just becomes nonsense English words.
Yes. I think like the most I guess the most generic, I would say, is like Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. That one actually is like, okay, yeah, that's a fine subtitle. That isn't weird.
Drop distance.
It implies, what the game is about very well, and then
you're
it just
telling
goes
me
off
that
the rails.
358/2 is not a normal part of daily conversation?
No, it is not. Guys, we're losing track here. Final Fantasy VII Remake, immerse yourself in the city of Midgar like never before. It will have a graphics mode prioritizing 4K high-resolution graphics, but the way I am definitely going to play this and it looks so good. They released a new trailer today with extended footage. Performance mode prioritizes smooth action at 60 FPS. It really looks like it's going to be at least 1440p, probably dynamic resolution, but 60 FPS just looks so good with 7 Remake. You get photo mode. They're going to be doing some stuff with haptic feedback as well, which is great. Can't wait to feel the Buster Sword hitting these enemies and the clang of that with the DualSense feedback. New difficulty settings are adding classic mode to the normal difficulty, which is great. A lot of people were clamoring for that. You can get into action a lot faster, like literally 2-3 seconds to load a game this time, or a file, whereas it was like 20 to 30 seconds before.
What about the door?
That we don't know for sure yet, but I mean, the textures and the lighting and the fog and all that implies that we will get all of those textures improved. The focus that they showed off in the trailers were those JPEG backgrounds for the destruction of Sector 7 or
Yeah,
the
like that was my biggest issue. I think it was
Yes.
the Chapter 15 climbing up the tower or whatever.
That was by far the most noticeable to me. I feel like
Yeah.
otherwise it isn't that noticeable because it's either high above you or down below you, and you're not really forced to look at it. Whereas in Chapter 15, like you are forced to look at it. So, but even the plate above you, all of that is, I think, probably PNG now and probably double the resolution it was before. It looks a lot cleaner. Yeah, check it all out. It's like a 6-minute trailer that was released today. But the big thing that shocked everybody is the DLC story content they're adding onto this. Everybody that expected story content pretty much was, it's going to be Tifa. It's going to be about her going to Don Corneo and all this. And it seems like that might be part of it. But you're actually getting a Yuffie episode, which is wild because in the original release, Yuffie is not even a character that you are forced to have. She's an optional character. She's in the farce near Junon, and you have to answer a certain series of questions perfectly in order to get her in your party. Now we're getting a 2 to 3 hour episode, 2 chapters long, entirely focused on her, where you get to actually play as her, new summons, new materia, teamwork being added, like teamwork attacks with this new character called Sonin. Use L2 to activate that, which is the best thing ever. Chrono Trigger, one of my favorite things about that game, at that time even, in 1994, were that they did teamwork attacks. It's something that not a lot of RPGs take advantage of, unfortunately, and specifically Final Fantasy, I can't think of any that has truly done teamwork attacks. They're finally doing it with 7 Remake. I remember back in the day when I would imagine 7 Remake, that was one of the first things I always dreamt about were teamwork attacks. So it's so cool
what game did
to see
have
that.
teamwork attacks?
I was gonna
What's
say.
that?
Your favorite game, Drew?
I was gonna say, do it, Mike. Say it.
Legend of Dragoon.
Yes, you're right. It did. You were very correct on that. Yeah, I like Legend of Dragoon. It's not my favorite, but I do like that about it. It's
Here I
one
thought
thing
you were
that I
going to
wish.
bring up Chrono Trigger.
Chrono
No,
Trigger
fuck
is
that.
the one that I remember very fondly. So this DLC is actually the only one that's planned right now, and they weren't planning on doing it. This is not something that was in planning for a long time. They started working on part 2, and in the process of developing the systems for PS5, they decided that why not like test it on like a product, on like actual content, and the Yuffie chapters became their testing ground for PS5, and that is why it is actually PS5 exclusive. You cannot get the Yuffie chapters on PS4. Some people are
I
very
actually know that.
miffed about that, but what I think is very exciting about that is that it confirms 7 Remake Part 2 not coming to PS4.
No,
They're
not
going
at
to
all.
take
Thank
advantage of
God.
PS5. They're
No,
probably going to do
yes.
very open zones or maybe even open world. Now is the time to move to PS5 and take advantage of the hardware, the SSD, all of that for this much more open chapter in the Final Fantasy VII Remake saga. So yes, very, very excited.
Right,
What's
yeah.
also amazing, and nobody expected this from Square Enix especially, free upgrade from PS4 to PS5.
I expected that.
Really? I did not. I
Dude,
didn't think they would
remember
do it.
we watched that stream, the reveal stream, and if you go back and watch that, I will say, now tell me it's free upgrade. Tell me it's free upgrade.
Oh, I wanted it. Don't get me wrong. I was clamoring for it as well. I just didn't expect it because Square Enix usually screws people over when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, look at Kingdom Hearts. Like they release the final mix versions all the time where you have to spend $50 and get all the added content. Granted, they do add a decent amount of content, and they are on this one, but the difference is the technical improvements you can get for free as long as it's not the PS Plus version. The Yuffie chapters rumored to be about $20, which I think is fine. I am totally okay spending $20 for
Right.
new DLC chapters. So keep in mind, though, very important to keep in mind, the PS Plus version does not upgrade for free to PS5.
And that's dumb, in my opinion. Very.
I don't think so. I disagree.
I get it myself, actually.
I think it's actually that. I think that's okay. This is one of those instances where I actually agree with that pricing. It's the same as I think Destruction All Stars went a little too far with it, but I think to an extent, including the base part of a game for free and then charging for like if Destiny, for instance, Destiny on Games Pass, Destiny 2 on Games Pass for Xbox did not include Beyond Light, and I think that's perfectly okay. Because yes, you're not including the current setup of it, but that doesn't mean you can't get it. And if all you have to do is now pay $20 to get it, and you didn't pay anything for it the first time, I think that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like, I feel like some people would maybe be even a little bit miffed. Like, I paid for this game, I bought it for $70. Like, I should get the free upgrade. Like, why should these PS Plus guys that get their PS Plus SKU also get the upgrade for free? I kind of get it to a certain extent. It would have been great fan service, of course, if they gave it to everybody.
I can tell you for a fact that they're not concerned about people saying like, oh, well, I had to pay for it and they didn't have to pay for it. Right. No, they only care about this.
I think what happened here was Square Enix didn't plan on doing a PS Plus edition probably in March. And Sony was able to convince them to go on PS Plus, but they were like, okay, but we're not giving 7 Remake update for free. That was a Square Enix thing as a caveat to, okay, we'll put it on PS Plus for the month, but we're getting people to buy this PS5 version for $70, including UV edition. That's probably what happened there. Moving on, we actually skipped over it in the video, but I'll go really quick here. It's kind of crazy. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis was trademarked a while back. It turns out it is another remake. Square Enix is doing 2 remakes of Final Fantasy VII, but this one is a mobile title that is going to be chapter-based. All the chapters will be free, but it's going to have like gacha mechanics for weapons and things like that, which I think is okay, as long as the game is free, and as long as you can get through the entire thing without needing to use the gacha stuff. That's fine. It's going to be 10 chapters long for the original Final Fantasy VII story, but they're going to cover everything in the compilation. Like, I'm talking Dirge of Cerberus, all of it. All
Give me that
before
Dirge, baby.
Crisis. Yeah, all of it's going to be in there. Even First Soldier, which has its own new story being written by Najima for 7 compilation, even that will be told within Ever Crisis. It's
even Gat.
Insane. Yes,
even
it's
Gat
all there.
Will return. It's all there. Everyone's here.
I was shocked by this announcement. Now, it's going to have a turn-based structure, and it looks faithful to the original sort of graphical, artistic design. It's updated, of course, and a little cleaner than that original release on PlayStation, but it goes after that look out of combat. In combat, it looks like 7 Remake. But I think it's really cool that they're doing it. I won't play it on mobile, but I kind of hope eventually, someday, they release it kind of like they did with Pocket Edition for 15, release it on PS5 as well. Release it for $20 or something like that. I don't care. I'll buy the whole thing together all at once on PS5, and I'll play it. I really will. And finally, this is the most bizarre one of them all. 7, The First Soldier, is a battle royale game. Who the hell asked for this? I never asked for this.
You did, Drew.
I never asked for this, Tom.
Ever since that one time where you looked at Fortnite for like 5 seconds, you said to myself, Drew Maduri, the thing that I need to be truly happy, not having my children and my wife, not having Bogey, not having this show and the fans here. No, what's going to truly make me happy before I die is seeing the words in big bold letters, courtesy of Jeff Gersman, Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale.
I mean, the fact that it's mobile alone, I'm not going to play it. But yeah, Battle Royale Final Fantasy VII was never something that was on my radar. And like I said, they're actually like developing new story, like canon story for this thing.
How much is it? Did they say?
I bet you it's free. I'm going to bet
you it's free, I'm going to play it. I have my
yeah, sure, why not?
A game like that, you have to make it. It's going to be free $99, and they're going to throw like a whole bunch of. They'll give it a battle pass and everything else like that, because that's the marketing model of that at this point.
Yeah, but the best Final Fantasy VII news of the entire month, you guys, is that the soundtrack is now on Spotify, and I'm sure they'll add the Plus version of it as well in the coming months. And on top of that, I got to sneak in this one extra bit of good news: Astro's Playroom is also now on Spotify. Get that GPU and SSD in your life, you guys. Go on Spotify and add that playlist. It's so damn good. So a lot of good Final Fantasy VII news this month. I cannot wait for Intergrade and to stream it once again for you guys and get that Yuffie content. But moving on from that, Mike, we got some good PlayStation news this month as well.
We do. So PSVR 2 has now shown off their brand new controllers, and man, what an upgrade these are. From PS Blog, they wrote, there's still a lot of development underway for a new PSVR system, so it won't be launching in 2021. But we wanted to provide this early update to our fans, as the development community has started to work on creating new worlds for you to explore in virtual reality. We're continuing to innovate our VR systems so that our fans can continue to enjoy the unique experiences that are synonymous with PlayStation. We're taking what we've learned since launching PSVR on PS4 to develop a next-gen VR system that enhances everything from resolution and field of view to tracking and input. It will connect to PS5 with a single cord to simplify setup and improve ease of use while enabling a high-fidelity visual experience.
So that's important to know right there, right? Because a lot of people
Huge.
wanted no wires, but it's good that they're down to one. That's good, right?
Yeah,
Be the
that's honestly par for the course. Even Oculus, what is it, Oculus Go? Which one was the one that recently didn't have like cables or wires or anything like that?
I get mixed up. There's so many of them now at this point.
There's so many of them now.
Yeah,
And
everybody and their
Greg
mother's got a
Miller
VR
tried
set,
it.
so who knows?
Right, like Greg Miller tried it. I remember listening to him talk about it, and he said he raved about it, said it was really good. But all the other impressions I heard was that it was fine, but compared to the Vive and all that stuff, it didn't compete, or even a wired Oculus, it didn't compete up. So I'm okay with one cord. It's not as much of a hassle. But the controller was the big improvement that I liked.
Yes.
So going off of that, describing that, so they're going to have the adaptive triggers. Each VR controller
Yes.
will have that similar adaptive trigger that you're used to now on the PS5 DualShock. Which
There's no
is
going back
huge.
after that. Am I right? Like, you guys have
Nope.
all felt it now. There's no going back after adaptive
I mean,
triggers.
yeah,
Everything's got to have
definitely-
haptic. Yeah.
Mhm. I think haptic is more the big thing, especially for VR. That's crucial and almost necessary. So the new controllers will have the haptic feedback, and I think for something like this system, it's you gotta have it. You're talking about immersion, in these worlds, and if you're just holding a controller or two, giant, magic wands, I'll call them. It just doesn't.
Wiimotes
Dildo
doesn't-
wands.
Yeah, dildo wands. I was trying not to say it, but
You know you want it to. I'll do it for you.
yeah, they're essentially dildos, giant vibrators. It just doesn't do it. So having the haptic feedback on this is crucial. The
Do
finger.
you think there's any
touch-
chance? Hold on. Do you think there's any chance that the headset could have haptic feedback?
Yeah.
So that was talked about, and wasn't there like a leaked patent for it or something?
I think so. I think I remember that. Yeah.
Multiple patents on top of the way
The audio, right?
they've all moved. All the industries have moved forward. They're going to do it. There's going to be haptics. There'll probably be a headset
Yeah,
too.
whenever you get headshotted by another player, it's just going to have a piston that just hits you right in the forehead.
Punch you in the gut. I really want those like vibrating chest vests. You know what I'm talking about?
You want the suit from Ready Player One. That's what
Yeah.
you
Right.
want.
Exactly.
Don't remind me of that. But to go on the big one that was for me that I actually enjoy because I've used it is the finger touch detection. And man, is that is even more. You guys think that adaptive triggers and haptic feedback is something? Oh boy, wait till you guys get your hands on this. So I have one of our friends has the Vive set up with the haptic with the finger touch sensation. We were playing Job Simulator, and just seeing it for detect if my one or two of my fingers were letting go of an object was something so cool that I was even able to pinch something with my thumb and pointer finger, and it detected that it was only using those. So I was able to throw it like I normally would, like a frisbee, or something like that, just with those two fingers. Though it is something really cool. So having that is necessary to keep up to date. So it seems like they're doing a lot to keep up with everybody else. The same thing with the tracking. It's going to be track better, and the action buttons, analog sticks.
Yeah, it seems like inside out tracking based on what it says there, which is the right way to go. Yeah,
buttons and analog sticks are the same thing as always. There's nothing, in my opinion, special about those. But the other things we were talking about are pretty big. So there's a poll that Drew is going to put into the chat.
Yep, already did. Nobody responded though, except for one person a little bit late who said one, which would have been yes, it's not there yet, but it will be within the near future. In regards to is VR here to stay? I'm going to let Tom talk about that late in the show tonight, about his feelings on VR. But let us know in the chat how you feel about VR and if you think it's here to stay. And we got some related news as well. Something big happened this month, kind of related to VR.
In related news, Sony Japan Studio has now been reorganized and centered around Team Asobi, who is a team that developed the Astrobot Rescue Mission. Those that know the PS5 Astrobot game, this was the first entry that we got into a 3D world. And it was great. Do not sleep on it, especially if it's VR. And PS5's launch pack and Astro's Playroom, like I just said. The whole reorganization is going to start taking place next month. I'm very interested to see what this ends up being. I'm a little disappointed that Sony Japan is not going to be focusing on the games it used to. However, if VR is really a big push for them, getting one of their better teams to focus solely on true entries into VR and not just little gimmicky things is definitely the way to go.
Do we think that this means that Team Asobi is become huge in size and it's going to have multiple teams now? Do we think this is all being devoted to like a new Astro VR, PSVR 2 game? Like what do we think is going on here?
I think.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say, I think if for nothing else, I think Astro's Playroom really surprised Sony. I think they always do these things where they, this is, the new big thing, and they always, hype it up, but don't really expect too much, but they expect enough. And I think Astro's Playroom really blew them away with how positive the reception was on it. And I think, I'll bet you anything, the completion results on that game were far better than they expected.
It's possible. What were you going to say, Vince?
I was actually going to say, just in response to your question, Drew, is I actually think this is going to be more of a scale back in a way, to where I think Japan Studio has been documented as chaotic all over the place.
Yeah, definitely.
Big major exoduses happen. I know Tom has talked about those on the show. So I actually think this is Sony kind of resetting the board in a way. And they're going back, all right, this team has given us 2 gen titles, one for our VR system and one for our new next generation system. So I think Sony's going to do like that whole what they always do. They're going to go back and they're just going to re-nurture that whole entire thing. And I think Asobi Studio is the kind of the foundation there. And then they're going to start spraying off with sister studios as they go along and leave a bulk team at Japan Studio to be more for like consulting work, like they did for Blue Point with Demon Souls and From Somewhere with Bloodborne. I think that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. I get the fear surrounding it, but at the same time, like Sony Japan, for the most part, the games that have been released out of it, even when they are good, Gravity Rush, for example, they haven't, they just have not performed well. And in the end, like, it does come down to that. Now, hopefully, that doesn't mean that they're going to move away from more quirky titles. I think it just means that they need to restructure around like how much they put into those titles, maybe the budget put towards those titles, how big the teams are, because there's still all those people. As far as I can understand, they haven't really laid off anybody in this restructuring. It's just moving people around. So they still have a lot of manpower. They still have a lot of talent there. It's just going to be a question of like, okay, what kind of games are they doing now being restructured around Team Asobi? Is it still going to be multiple teams, or like as Vince said, is it going to be pulled back? That's a question that we don't know the answer to yet. So I don't think we should freak out necessarily. I think that we need to see what this actually means for Sony Japan.
Yeah. I agree.
Hopefully it's good news, actually. Hopefully we get surprised and we get some cool stuff out of them moving forward. That is enough of that. Let's move on, you guys. Oh, hold on. Never mind. Let's not move on because I just heard a sound, Tom.
Oh, did we hear a sound? Yes, we certainly did. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the halftime hedge. That's right, everybody. This is your time once a month during our show where we allow you, the viewers, to wager and put up your SP in order to get huge gains on your place within this season hierarchy. This month, we have some new wagers coming at us, which I'm very excited about, and we're always all excited about.
Yes, we are.
Because we already have some wagers that are sitting off to the side that are not going to be decided for a little while, but we have a couple of new ones here. The first is coming to us from the Nine Fox. He is wagering all of his SP. He is going all in, friends, by saying that Outriders will be on Xbox Game Pass within the first month of release. And I want to focus on this one just yet because we have a second one coming up, but just for this right now, guys, Outriders on Xbox Game Pass within the first month of release.
So I know why he said that. I know what spurred on this prediction, and it is that there's tweets going on right now about like an email that says something about like, you might remember better than I do, Tom, but certain words specifically that are pulled directly from Outriders marketing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really seems heavily implied that Outriders is going to be coming to Game Pass in the near future. For that reason, I don't feel like this is a very ballsy prediction. Time out from Vince. Go ahead, Vince.
Time out. Sorry, it's been confirmed.
Has it?
Yeah.
100%.
It's been announced.
Okay, great. Okay.
It has been announced.
So
Yeah,
unfortunately, we won't be able to do this then.
Well, yes. Then, unfortunately, the Nine Fox, your wager is null and void.
Sorry,
Okay.
Nine Fox. If I remember the timeline, you predicted this, and then literally a day after they announced.
Okay.
Literally.
I figured
You know what,
it had to happen soon.
And that's not Derek's fault. That's us for not removing that from the wagers. So
I
Derek,
honestly did not see that it was officially confirmed. I figured
I
that it
didn't
would
see
be
that
very
either.
soon, but I didn't see that it was confirmed. Well, apologies, Derek. It was too quick. It needed to happen after this episode tonight in order for us to negotiate the value. So we will have to reject.
Well, Derek, we do
Your wager.
appreciate you doing it, and we're more than welcome to hear any other of your wagers moving forward.
Doing insider trading.
Yes, he's definitely doing some insider trading. He's got an inside man. He's got some traction on this. Okay, so next, our second wager that was made comes to us from Trans-Marxist. He is wagering 4,000 SP, claiming that The Last of Us Part 2 Factions is a standalone game revealed before the end of September 2021 and will have a Battle Royale style mode. So this is a two-parter now, because not only will The Last of Us, according to him,
Let me just say her.
or her rather,
Emma.
I apologize. According to them, The Last of Us Part 2 Factions will have to be a standalone game, which meaning it will be released outside of The Last of Us Part 2 package before the end of September 2021, and that it will also include a specific multiplayer mode. So if either one of those two things does not happen, they will lose this bet.
I agree. This compounds it, right, and makes it a ballsier bet without a doubt. I think we all have some feeling that Factions might be standalone. That's definitely not an out there prediction. There's a lot of people that have been speculating that Factions could release standalone. But putting a date on it, and especially adding the Battle Royale as well, I think this is a pretty ballsy prediction. I think 4,000 SP is totally fine here.
I think it's a very bold move, and I think it's fair because you're not just doing the date. You're adding on a second stipulation. Now, personally, I think given what we already know previously, and I played a lot of The Last of Us, the first game's multiplayer mode, and I think it does heavily lend itself to a Battle Royale style, especially as you're going around scavenging in that area. 100%. So I don't see how they don't include some sort of Battle Royale in there, but depending on how much time and budget that they have, because again, they're going to be releasing this game for only PlayStation. It's not like this is going to be a big cross-platform release, so maybe putting that much effort into something that's not necessarily going to net you a lot of money through microtransactions, maybe that's not the way to go. So so I think there is a decent possibility, even though I think that they will add it, there is a decent possibility that they won't. So that puts even more risk on this bet. I think 4,000 is a good place to play, good ceiling on that. Vince, do you feel differently, Mike?
No.
I don't feel differently about it. I just, you know what? Never mind. It's all good. We're all good.
I see your like mind like churning something. I don't know what you're thinking about right now, but
Don't worry
it seems
about
like
it.
you have a problem with this.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm good.
Are
I'm
you
good.
sure?
I'm good. I am sure. We need bets, and I want bets. So let's do it.
Okay. 4,000 SP. Put it in the books, Tom.
Putting it in the books.
All right.
So, friends, once again, if you would like to join in and create a bet, and once again, remember, everybody, not only are you wagering for yourself, you're also wagering for the community. If you win the bet, if Transmarxist wins her bet, she will be getting the majority of her winnings. But if she also wins her bet and beats us, the house, the rest of the community will be getting a portion of the SP.
One
jackpot
quarter.
as
One
well.
quarter to be exact. I have
One
to pause
quarter.
you, Tom.
Portion.
I've
I did say
I've
portion.
seen Derek's new bets. Derek has
Yes.
made a new bet, and it's a good one.
He's
He
made a new
says, and he's put it. This is a good bet. It's different for sure because it's directly insulting me for one.
Yes.
Drew will tap out of playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition. He is wagering all SP.
Oh my God! Wait, hold on.
Ooh.
What does that mean? Does that mean that you'll start it and not finish,
And stop
or you
it.
just won't play?
Yes, I've already said I'm playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I'm committed to
that's-
doing it.
No,
happening.
sorry. That's not.
Okay.
That's too. That's a
Well,
safe
this
bet.
is also entirely dependent on you, Drew, because if you just
Exactly.
decide that you want to stick it to Derek and
I kind of
make
do.
it so that
No.
make it so that he loses all of his SP,
All
that's
three games.
entirely your choice.
You can't have.
I'm against this bet because I think it's too safe.
Okay, so hold on a sec. Let me just make one thing clear. I'm not doing everything in Mass Effect. I'm going through the stories of these games. I might do some side quests here and there, but I'm not 100%ing any of the Mass Effect games.
No, I think playing
Yeah.
playing the story to completion is enough to be considered you finishing the game.
That's the thing, though. Is like for some of those, is like, yeah, all the DLCs need to be included in this because
Yeah.
Oh, no, see, that's too much.
Derek just said that. Start to end, all DLC.
That's a lot. I'm not sure I
Yeah.
even want to spend that much time on it.
he's already
See?
got
I'll play
I
the main
told you guys,
games. That's what I
it's
wanted to
safe
do. I want to
bet.
play the main games.
No, it's too safe a bet. He's not going to do any of it.
Drew. I'll even tell you right now with number 3, you actually wouldn't like number 3 if you don't play the DLC.
Yeah.
That's the problem there.
How long is the DLC for these games?
I mean, they're all various of length, but I'm still saying like you're still looking at multiple hours of stuff to do in a very long RPG to begin with.
see, I didn't think they were. I've always heard that Mass Effect is like 20 hours each.
Yeah, but take that and compound it between 3 games.
Well, yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying it's not like Final Fantasy,
Like, I think
10
three-
where I spend 100 hours on it.
Well, I think 3 has like, what is it? Mike, you may need to correct me here. This is not a fake fan moment. I think it's like 12 DLCs. And
This is directly going at me. I have to accept this bet. I don't know what it's worth, but I feel like I want to accept this bet. I'm down for this.
You're down.
I
for
will include DLC in that as well.
this? Oh my.
Oh
Okay.
man, I'm against it. I think you're definitely not going to do it, and I think it's too safe.
I don't know, man. I feel like
Yeah.
because
You guys don't have any faith in me.
No, zero. I have no faith in you at all whatsoever.
I think Drew here, because here's the thing, it's not just dependent on Drew himself, but it's also going to depend on your stream numbers, because if you see that nobody's watching or nobody cares to watch
agree.
Mass Effect,
I agree.
then
Yeah,
you're
it's
gonna
100%.
drop it, not due to any lack of interest on your part, but if people aren't tuning in to watch. So actually, the community, all of you guys out there,
This is
you are going to play a big role on whether or not this bet comes to fruition, because if Drew consistently brings numbers in while he's playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition, he's going to probably
You bet
keep
your
playing
ass. You bet
You
your ass.
also have
I
to
will.
remember though that with the amount of time that these games are going to take, Drew only streams for 4 to 5 hours, once to twice a week, depending on the week. So this set could literally, if he actually did this, it would literally take him about a year.
It doesn't matter how long it takes me. And here's the thing: I don't have to play them in succession either. I can play Mass Effect 1, I can wait a year and play Mass Effect 2. This could be a 3-year-long bet. It doesn't matter until I say I'm done with these games and I'm never playing them. I can ride this out as long as I want, you guys.
Yeah, Derek, I'm going to say hold your SP and use it towards something else.
No, we are taking it, but it's not going to be all SP
no,
it's going to take too long. By the time he does this, he could have 50,000 SP. I say
it could also, it has to, we have to also remember that he has to set aside this amount of SP, and if he wants to make another bet in another week, he can only make a bet for however much SP is left over for the difference. Because
I am almost willing to break the rules of this segment and make it so that SP is not the thing we are wagering.
wow.
I feel like there needs to be something else that needs to be wagered.
Blood.
Mostly blood.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen here, Drew. You're sold at this point.
Here's what I've been talking about Legendary Edition and what my plans are for it. And I've said from the very start, I will play all 3 of them, but I'm definitely not planning on playing them all in a row. I was planning on doing Mass Effect 1, and then we'll do 7 Remake or something like that. And then maybe after 7 Remake, I'll do 2. And then after that, we're going to be in the holiday season. I'm probably going to play a couple games in the holiday season. And then maybe sometime at the start of next year, I'll pick up 3. I'm not planning on playing them back to back to back. I'm not that crazy.
No, but we're gonna need to put a time limit on it.
Okay, that's fine. I'd say, how about this? By March of next year.
Yeah,
By March, so you have 1 calendar year.
By April of next year. Let's do April.
Okay, so roughly you have 1 calendar year to complete all of the Legendary Edition.
Yes.
And
all DLC as well. I will include DLC.
All DLC streamed.
Yes, I will do it.
I say right now we set time limits for each game.
No, what? We're getting too dirty here, man. No.
It's not dirty. Because, like I said,
What do you like? I have to put in 30 hours. I can't go through it in 20.
No. I'm saying time limits of you have X many months to complete game 1.
Oh God.
No, I disagree with this. Give me a year. I will finish all 3 of them and DLC by the end of March.
Well, it's not going to take forever. It's going to take a single year because
no matter what, it's done by then.
12 calendar months to complete all of the Legendary Edition.
Technically, I have 10 because the game hasn't released yet.
All right,
technically, you'll have 10.
Yeah.
All right, I'll concede.
I think.
And we're going what? We're sticking with all in for whatever he has at that point.
10,000 SP.
10,000 SP. Okay.
That's what I say.
I'm good with that.
I'm in.
Vince.
Hey man, it's your time. Go for it.
I mean, in all honesty, if I give 10,000 SP to Derek, I'm not going to be that upset about it. It'll be more of my pride that's hurt. But Mike, are you okay with 10,000 SP?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, put it in the books, Tom.
Drew's
a year-long bet.
Bloodshot. He's going to be sweating. He's going to be yelling at Millie to get away from him because he's too busy trying to see if he can save the galaxy.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, normal is what I would play it on anyway, Derek. That's fine. Yeah, normal.
You are going to learn the true meaning of suffer.
Oh my.
The true meaning of pain.
Yeah.
All right.
If Drew plays Gas, then Tom plays Dirge of Cerberus on stream.
Tom, let's wrap this shit up. We're falling.
I gotta get my PS2 ready to go if I can manage to do that. Yeah. So guys, once again, if you want to join in and wager some of your SP in order to get a leg up on each season, make sure to go ahead and go to our Discord where everything happens. Go to #HalftimeHedge and present to us your wager and how much SP that you are willing to wager, and we will negotiate it here live on the show, and we will rectify all bets as they come. Good luck betting, everybody. Good luck to Trans-Marxist. Good luck to the 9 Fox, and we will see you next month for another.
Or next year. Or next year. All right, moving on with the level update. We're doing a 2-parter here to wrap it up for Xbox welcoming Bethesda to the family. Vince, you've got the first part of this discussion. What do we want to focus on here? Go ahead.
We're going to focus on a recent statement by Phil Spencer about first-party exclusivity, the big question that everyone was asking about. So I'm going to try to wrap through this really quick here. This is a quote from Phil Spencer. I listened to the podcast and all the questions, so I'm going to try to be clear as I can because that's what I want. I think it's just fair. So obviously I can't sit here and say every Bethesda game is exclusive because we know that's not true. Their contractual obligations we are going to see through, as we always do in every one of these instances. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to support these games on those platforms they're on. There's communities of players. We love those communities, and we'll continue to invest in them. And even in the future, there might be things that have either contractual things or legacy on different platforms that we'll go to do. But if you're an Xbox customer, the thing I want you to know is that this is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. And that's our goal. That's why we're doing this. That's the root of this partnership that we are building. The creative capability we'll be bringing to the market for our Xbox customers is going to be the best it's ever been for Xbox after we're done.
Such intentional wording here, and it's no surprise that this came at the very start of the stream. He had this script in his head. He knew exactly what he was going to say. They talked about it a lot. These words were very, very intentional on all platforms where Game Pass exists.
Yep. That is the big one. That means, you won't possibly see Elder Scrolls 6 on PlayStation 5 or any other console because it's not a platform where Game Pass exists
Yet.
That's the big as of this moment.
So do you feel like they're kind of calling Sony out here? Are they kind of laying down the gauntlet and saying, "Hey, you can have these games, guys. You can have Elder Scrolls 6. You can have Starfield, but you gotta have Game Pass on your console."
So here's the other thing too, because this is also, if you're gonna say it's throwing shade towards that, this is also throwing shade technically to like Steam, which is I think a really interesting fight for Microsoft to pick on that, because that's where those games sell long term for something like that. Like I'm talking about Elder Scrolls or Fallout, Dishonored and other things like that actually have, I think, better legs, I think, on consoles. I haven't really looked at the numbers there yet. And we all saw Fallout 76 has actually gotten a really big boost now. I think Xbox console is its most played platform. So I don't know.
I don't think they're calling out Steam as much. And I know why you're saying that, and I know what you're getting at, but I think Microsoft understands its limitations and understands what it's getting at. And I think Bethesda, more than Microsoft, still, you got to remember, they still are a company. It's not, Bethesda is not now dissolved and their games are part of Microsoft. The games are still Bethesda. The company is still Bethesda. So they can still call a lot more shots than many other acquisitions that Microsoft has made. And I do not think that Bethesda would have allowed any of their titles where mods and similar were to exist in a way that would cause as much backlash as other times when they tried to monetize them. They saw how badly that went for them. So I think, again, the wording was platforms where it exists, not where you can play it on Game Pass as the only way.
Sure, that's true. That is true. Now, also, it doesn't take into account that Game Pass is something that doesn't necessarily need to be the same exact structure across platforms. Like, I could certainly see Sony willing to negotiate here. They could go to Microsoft and say, okay, yeah, we'll have Game Pass on our platform, but no third-party games are allowed on your version of Game Pass on PlayStation 5. It can only be Microsoft first-party titles that are on PlayStation Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I still have such
happening.
a hard time thinking that just having that branding on their console, I think that they wanted to have nothing to do with having anything that says Microsoft or Xbox.
I could certainly see that, yeah.
On their console at all. So they'll bite the bullet and they'll just be like, all right, well, sorry guys, Sony is not the place for you guys to play Fallout or Wolfenstein or what have you.
They can say that all they want right now, but if it does really affect the bottom dollar, if they start seeing a migration or starting to see that hearts and minds are moving away from PlayStation, I think that things could change.
Yeah, it's tough for me to think that any one of those things is going to be like the drastic move away from PlayStation.
I agree.
That you're suggesting, Because at the
Oh,
end
I'm not suggesting it. Not like I think it's going to happen. I'm just saying
no.
if it were to happen.
Well, you're presenting the scenario,
Yes.
and I know you're doing it devil's advocate style.
Yeah.
But the suggestion that people would move away specifically because I can't play Skyrim on PlayStation, I don't think that's happening. Because at the end of the day, what sells PlayStations is their first party content, their commitment to JRPGs, and some Japanese developers, and frankly, some of I would say, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much those two things at the end of the day.
Yeah.
As well as you know, maybe some people like PlayStation Plus more than Xbox Live or Game Pass in some respect. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I doubt that that's the reason why. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the exclusives.
Agreed.
That
I
are
agree
going to
with
keep
that.
people around, and what they care about is at least going forward. Drew, I know the thing that you care about is where can I play Final Fantasy VII the soonest?
Yeah.
And the answer is going to be PlayStation.
I mean, in all honesty, this Bethesda acquisition is like the perfect one for them to spend $7 billion on for me, because I don't really care about Bethesda games. I'll be completely honest. I understand that they're huge. I know Fallout's huge. I like Elder Scrolls Oblivion, but Skyrim was like really doing nothing for me. I like Evil Within. Doom is cool, but like none of these are games like I need to play, in all honesty. So if this was the one that needed to happen for Microsoft to pick up, it kind of works out for me. But I feel for a lot of people. I do. I really do feel for all those PlayStation guys that don't feel like they can pick up two consoles, don't want to become a part of not having like a physical library or owning their games, don't want to get in the Game Pass. I feel for those people that feel like they're now missing out on games that they love.
But now I have to question with that, even that, to be frank with you, is, you know, if you are in the gaming culture, as a lot of us are, a lot of our community is, chances are if you don't own two consoles, most people will own a gaming PC or a gaming laptop or something, or some other means of being able to access Game Pass.
Well, for starters, let's just say Game Pass is not available everywhere.
It's not available everywhere, but there's two
and
places.
Streaming is not available everywhere either.
But it's available two places: an Xbox and a PC. And
I mean countries.
Well, countries, yes. That
Game Pass is not available in a lot of countries.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I have my American exceptionalism glasses on currently.
Yeah, you have to remember that Game Pass currently is not available in a lot of countries, and a lot of countries cannot support the streaming as well, especially if they do not have a gaming PC beefy enough in order to download these games and play them. That doesn't mean, just stream it. No, that doesn't work for everybody either. So there are people being locked out of these games that are not willing to commit a certain dollar amount to hardware. You know what I mean? So it's going to happen no matter what. How many people that is, I don't know. But that's kind of getting beside the point here. I don't mean to call you guys out, but I remember myself personally when $7 billion was spent on Bethesda, I said Elder Scrolls and Fallout will not be coming to PS5. I feel like I remember you, Mike, being the one who said, no, they'll still come to PlayStation.
Yep.
How do you feel about that now, Mike? Are you upset?
I mean, I don't like any of it. I still think that this is bullshit. And I think that anybody who compares the Bethesda acquisition to Sony getting Spider-Man from Insomniac or anything else is literally not only they're either naive, moronic, or a combination of the two. Wow. And I honestly have zero respect for any of those arguments. You
always do this, Mike.
Huh?
You just go so far.
No, listen, it's absolutely stupid. It's absolutely dumb. You clearly do not have a clear vision of what is actually at play here. A company going to a studio saying, make this game, and that studio saying, well, we're first party with this company, is completely different than getting a well-known third-party company and saying, you are now us. Like, it's absolutely bullshit. It's literally the same thing if they would have bought Activision, if they bought EA, if they bought Ubisoft. Buying Insomniac, one dev, is not the same as buying a fucking arm of the entire gaming sector. So no, I don't like it. I think it's absolutely stupid. I think it's bullshit, and I think it screws us all over because in the end, it's going to mean that Sony's going to have to acquire more, and Microsoft is going to have to acquire more, and Nintendo's going to stick the thumb up
Something to
their
keep in
ass.
mind, though, is that was going to happen no matter what. It was inevitable. So the reason Microsoft
Was it,
probably
though?
did this in a
Did it
major
need
way
to
was to be the first
happen?
one. They knew Google was eyeing things up. They knew Amazon was eyeing things up. They know Sony is eyeing things up. I think they just wanted to do the preemptive attack to a certain extent.
Well,
But now that it has happened, I do agree with you. Like, the acquisition wars begun, they have, because there's no way that you're not going to see some more come from this, maybe even from Microsoft, but specifically from Sony. They're strong. They're going to be fine. Even if they lose a certain portion of their customer base, they're going to live for their first party exclusives, even as they are right now. No problem at all. But how much are they willing to lose market share wise? Because they're going to lose some based on this. They will. They have to. How much is it going to be? At what point do they say we need to rebut this in a similar way? And what does that mean publisher wise? It's not good for anybody, especially if it's coming from PlayStation. Even worse if it's coming from PlayStation, because they will secure it. Not to Game Pass. They will secure it to PlayStation and probably PC. They're starting to come around on that. But it's not going to be as widespread as Xbox. So it's not a good thing. These acquisitions and consolidation, all this is not good for us, the gamers. That's my opinion. I know, like some people in the chat said, exclusives are good. Exclusives are great. I love exclusives. Are great when it's they define a console, right?
Company making it and putting the money themselves into their own curated studios, like they have.
Yes, exactly.
Unless you can't do that, like Microsoft, so you have to throw your wallet at shit.
I think that's a little bit derogatory, Vince. I think you're probably going to say the same thing. They were forced to do this because they need to be quick. Or do you agree, Vince?
No,
I don't.
Hands.
Here's the problem that I have with the acquisition here is because everyone seems to forget that Microsoft did have multiple first-party studios.
Yeah.
They did have multiple studios. They closed them down, and they realized, oh shit, we need IPs for Game Pass. Let's do this.
You mean you can't tell people what to do? And then expect them to get creative with our ideas and not their own? Holy shit, I don't know what to do now.
It's just, I think that's the biggest thing that I hate about this entire thing is that, like, this isn't like a, I don't know. It's hard because, like, there's so many facets and there's so many levels to this conversation, and I hate it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I was talking to Mike, I think we had this conversation privately. The fact is, like, I might have actually been talking to my chat. I don't remember anymore. I don't associate most of these games with PlayStation to begin with, so I really don't lose anything from it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But at the same time, though, like, I love Arcane Studios and I love Tango Works. I love those two studios. So not having the next, Deathloop or the next Evil Within 3, that hurts me a little bit. And this whole idea that, like, they had to buy everyone from this entire company, I thought it was just like, this is asinine. Like, the relationship is with Bethesda, and that's it. It's the Bethesda studio there. It's that they have the relationship for, not all these sister studios. And that's just where I think this is where it sucks, because you are.
Like, let me offer up an option here, like, that could have happened potentially. And they decided not to go in this direction for probably many, many reasons. But they probably could have approached Bethesda and said, we'll give you X amount of money to get all of your games on Game Pass. Don't take them away from PlayStation, but we want your games day one on Game Pass. How much is that going to cost us? They still bolster Game Pass. They still get some type of exclusivity arrangement in that way, and really making those studios synonymous with Microsoft in that way. They do a lot of what they wanted by going that route, but they didn't do that. They wanted them fully exclusive to Xbox for $7 billion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just hate it. And I just hate this. And you guys all know my stance on Game Pass. And this is what I see what Game Pass is doing. This is what I see the damage that Game Pass is doing technically to the industry. I know it's a really weird take, and I know I'm in a very much of a minority opinion.
Yeah, but it's with the caveat that you understand how great it is value-wise.
Right, and I get that. So I think we've all discussed that. But this is the long-term damage that something like Game Pass will do and wreak havoc of, as we see right now. This is the draw point.
My bigger problem with Game Pass, and I'm with you, I 100% see the value. It's like the best value in gaming, without a doubt. but it also is completely manipulating perception of value as well. I can't stand how often I see now, not just people wanting, games to be discounted, but expecting games to be free. Like, why isn't this game on PS Plus day one? Why isn't this game on Game Pass day one? Or like, it's like this is like, I can't stand it. It's getting really frustrating. I think 7 Integrate is a perfect example of that. Actually, like the people that just wanted the Yuffie content to be free, it's like, no, this is new content. Like people's perception of value because of Game Pass in a major way, I think, is really becoming misconstrued and manipulated in such a way that they expect everything to just kind of be handed to them. And I think the other shoe is going to drop eventually where Game Pass has to raise in price and certain things need to change as a result of this new landscape. And these people are going to be pissed that this perceived value that they expect is not going to be there.
It's starting to turn over into the model of what happened with the music industry back in the 90s and the 2000s, where you're going to have essentially, and not free, but I'm going to go with the exaggeration of exactly what happened with the music industry, which is you had file sharing back then, where people just expected to be able to get music for free, and people just expected to get even with newspapers, when newspapers were putting up their entirety of their newspaper online for free, and then all of a sudden now, people are like, oh well, no, like you got to buy premium content, or we want you to start paying money again to start listening to all this stuff or reading this content, and people are going to say no because you've trained me to expect that the value of this is free 99, and if I'm expecting to get it for essentially free, then of course, then I'm going to rebel. I'm not going to want to pay for it, and I'm going to find ways to pirate it, or they're just going to shut it off entirely and just say it's not worth it at that point. I think now, where Bethesda is concerned, I am extremely interested in what the metrics are going to be on their game sales at this point, because you best believe that once like Starfield and all these other games start coming out, and if their sales data comes out and they start realizing that there is a significant amount of games that they are not, significant amount of units that they are not pushing because of Game Pass and because it's not on other consoles, it's only going to be on PC and Xbox versus what it was previously, and people start looking at that sales data, I wonder how many shareholders for Microsoft are going to start, kind of shrugging their shoulders and be like, was $7 billion really worth it? Because the numbers aren't matching up to what you guys were selling Fallout 4 for years ago, or with the sales for Doom Eternal. All of a sudden now we're going to have Doom 3 coming out, and it's not going to do anywhere near the numbers that Doom Eternal did. Mm-hmm. And why is that? Is it because it's a bad game? Well, no, but do I want you to spend a whole bunch of money trying to make a Doom 3 or an Evil Within 3 if it's not going to be making the same sales data? And at the end of the day, they're not going to want to hear the nuance of that being, well, it's
users.
we're really looking at active users, and it's like, I don't care about active users. You're not making any more money by making these games.
Well,
it's going to be completely dependent on subscription numbers on Game Pass. Like they're going to need to see those numbers really climb, and that's the entire purpose of this. Obviously,
it's a Netflix.
They have to surpass a certain user count at that point, and a
not
certain
only that,
subscriber count.
The issue becomes similar that we have the streaming services. For instance, all these great shows that are on let's just say Netflix, where they have tons of views. Doesn't mean shit. They can get canceled after 2 seasons because unless it makes new people subscribe to it, then it doesn't do anything for them. So if 100,000 people subscribe to Game Pass and 80,000 of them played Doom 1 and 2, and then they made a third one, and only 5,000 more people subscribe, that doesn't mean jack shit for them because they only went up to 105,000. That didn't mean anything to them. Whereas some other generic game that we all bitch about, gets made and is repetitive over and over again, maybe gets the casual market that gets them another 30 or 40,000 people. So that's this issue that you have with all these subscription services, is that the metrics are viewed completely differently because it's not viewed in dollars and cents in the same way of buying a copy is, or market share even, which is the biggest one that is changing, which is revolutionized how you have to look at the metrics. Market share means jack shit unless it's adding new subscribers, even if they are there for the month and then leave. it still counts as a new subscriber.
We have to wrap up this part of the topic, but real quick, 20 Bethesda games have been added to Game Pass. Like a lot of Dooms, Dishonored, Elder Scrolls, Evil Within, Wolfenstein. A lot of great content added to Game Pass there. And on top of that, there's also boosted frame rates up to 60 FPS on Skyrim Special Edition, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Dishonored Definitive Edition, and Prey. So really awesome news for all you Xbox Game Pass guys out there. I'm also going to end the raffle and choose the winner right now. We had 37 tickets among 13 users. Thank everybody that got in on that. And the winner of the $50 PSN card or even Xbox card or Nintendo card, whatever you want. And if you're not from US and you know me well enough, I will PayPal you. The winner is Gravy Biscuits. That's definitely one of those ones. Gravy, I think you're from the United States. If you're not, we will make it work anyway. Let me know what you want right now in the chat, Gravy. Do you want PlayStation? Do you want Xbox? Nintendo Switch? What would you like? Congratulations. Get the F out, he says.
Get the F out.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome. And a big thank you to King Kurt and everybody else involved in getting that SP towards a community goal this season so that we could do a $50 PSN card or gift card giveaway. Let's see what he says here. What is Gravy going to go with? And we're going to move on to the second part of our topic here. It's not over yet. We got to talk a little bit more about this Bethesda
A little
acquisition.
bit more, but very briefly.
Okay, PlayStation, you got it, Gravy, and go ahead, Tom.
Very briefly, hand in hand with the previous topic, it turns out that Xbox is looking to create a summer event. Xbox has confirmed, according to IGN, Xbox has confirmed it is planning a summer games event of some kind this year, and Bethesda is heavily involved in its planning. During a roundtable discussion, the recent Xbox acquisition of Bethesda, Xbox Marketing General Manager Aaron Greenberg and Bethesda Global Marketing and Comms Executive Aaron Losey confirmed that they were in the planning phase for an event sometime this summer that would include more news about what the partnership between the two companies would entail. No further details were given, though Greenberg did add that what they were planning was the sort of event Xbox would traditionally hold at E3. Mm-hmm. And E3 2021 will be digital only this year on top of that, so keep that in mind as well. According to Jeff Grubb of VentureBeast, Bethesda Microsoft want to reveal Starfield at the event and release it in November.
Wow.
So
that's a big wow right there.
We're going to put up a poll here, guys.
Yeah.
Drew, at least Drew will be.
Yep.
Do you think we might see Starfield this year? And frankly, to that, I will say absolutely not.
They might be shooting for it.
Well, look, you can shoot for the moon, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get higher than the clouds.
Yeah.
I doubt. I seriously doubt, considering that we're still dealing with COVID production, that we will not see any Starfield before 2022.
So let me ask you: do you think that, because the way you say that, and the way you said it the other day when we were talking about this,
yeah,
your reaction would, to me, say you don't expect to see this game until late 2022, 2023. Is that accurate, or
that is
no,
that is accurate? I don't
Okay.
think for a second, because we haven't seen anything for this. The only thing we've seen, Mike, is a title card.
Keep in mind, though, Fallout 4 was revealed 3 months before its release.
Fallout 4 did the exact same thing. Now, mind you, it was pre-COVID, so I do understand that.
And that's
why I prefaced it.
That's my biggest caveat, Mike, is the fact that we are in COVID production.
So I can say right now, I would actually, if this is the expectation of the plan, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I think it kind of sums up what you're getting at. But, on my side, I could actually see this coming. And I would actually be surprised if this is a plan that it does not come, if it comes later than spring 2022.
Okay.
So you think still early-ish 2020?
I think, because of COVID. I think honestly that they were planning to go another Fallout 4 route. I think that's the way Bethesda is going to try to do their big tentpole games now, and I think it's a smart thing to do because you don't really put up too much chatter way too early, like some other people. So I think that this is their plan. However, I think COVID really does screw everything up, as we've seen. So I think that fall was their anticipation, but I would say that this could hands down be a March game probably at the latest, actually, in my opinion.
My biggest argument to that would just be, the fact that we've seen it on this show, how much our delay watch has been working overtime.
We're about to see it, yeah.
We're about to see it. It's still working overtime regarding games that we knew were announced, that we have seen gameplay of, that we've seen a lot of content for, that stuff that looks like it should be out imminently, but still is getting delayed.
However, on the other side of that, Gotham Knights has only been in development in its current form for no more than 3 years. And Cyberpunk 2077 is just a cluster. Yeah, that's not, I'm not even going to touch that one because that thing is an entire joke.
Well, look at Returnal would be like my number poster child for that. Like, that game looked like it was already polished and well ready.
My go-to was going to be Ratchet and Clank.
And Ratchet and Clank as well. Ratchet and Clank's another one.
So I understand and I agree. I think that this game is further along in Bethesda's terms of ready to go than I think most other companies would let you think. So I'm still sticking to it.
Beyond that, though, that's not the only thing that's going to be revealed here. Are you guys expecting Elder Scrolls 6? What do we think?
I hope not.
No,
I really don't.
No.
I don't want it.
They need to do Starfield first, then Elder Scrolls 6, or
do not touch it.
6, then Starfield. They cannot do both. Here's the big issue that I have with this entire thing. They cannot do a Fallout 4 launch. They cannot do a Fallout 76 launch because those two launches, Fallout 4 not as much, but those two launches were borderline disaster for them, especially Fallout 76. Like
76 was a disaster. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, that's not borderline. That's a disaster.
I'm saying 4 was a borderline disaster for the console release. The PC release was also as well.
4 did decently enough, especially initial sales wise.
I'm not talking about sales. I'm talking about the actual overall product being buggy. It was worse than what it had been initially from a Bethesda game.
The critical and user reception to both of those releases was absolutely atrocious.
That's what I meant. I wasn't talking about sales-wise. I was talking about like the actual the turnaround behind that. Fallout 4 dropped really hard. It took them a while to kind of get that back up again. Whereas Skyrim, even with that buggy launch on the PS3, that game sold consistently throughout that entire year. Does that make sense? That's what I meant, Mike. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No,
yeah, I got you there. And I agree with you. Yeah, I think they should focus on one before moving on to the other. Focus on Starfield, make it the best it can be, all the marketing, the hype train, get it behind that before even moving on to Elder Scrolls. But they're not going to do a big summer event celebrating Bethesda, their E3 event of the year, with just Starfield. There's going to be more there than that. Do we get Evil Within 3 title card? Do we get Doom 3 title card? Like, do we think that even if games are years out, do you think we get those teases now because they're trying to celebrate Bethesda as quickly as possible and get people like on board? Like, this is Xbox and Bethesda now. Like, look at us go.
I think if you're going to talk about any Bethesda game getting thrown out there, it's either likely going to be like a Prey or another Dishonored. That I could see potentially either of those going, but I think that they could pretty much just treat this as like their big coming out party for Starfield, because I look at Starfield potentially as essentially them trying to work out the kinks with developing exclusively for the Xbox in order to make Elder Scrolls 6 the best game that it can be, because I think they realize that their real big money is likely going to come from a successful launch of a new Elder Scrolls as opposed to a brand new IP in Starfield. Starfield, right. I think it's going to be their practice demo. Let's get all of the bugs and everything else out of the way. Let's make this engine as good as humanly possible, and then move on to Elder Scrolls 6 and then knock that out of the park.
Yeah, I could certainly see that. Yeah. I'm excited that E3 this year, even though I don't know that this is going to be a part of E3, I'm excited that we have summer events again. And like last year we had the PlayStation 5 reveal was like the big summer event. This year I think we're going to get the Bethesda coming out party with Xbox. And I wonder if PlayStation wants to steer clear of that entirely. like entirely. Like PlayStation's like, nope, I don't want to be even close to anything related to Bethesda's coming out party in summer. I wonder what their game plan is going to be.
Just depends. I mean, remember, everyone was hyping up Microsoft's AAA summer event last year, and we all know what happened.
That's
so,
yeah.
never. I mean, you can never know what's going to happen with these types of things.
I think that, not to take away from the Xbox discussion and back to PlayStation, but I do think that there's sort of like this trickle of news coming out recently from PlayStation, but it's nothing like major. It's like, oh wow, they just announced PSVR 2. Oh wow, they just showed off the controllers. Oh, they bought Evo, which we're going to talk about in a moment. It's like, these are weird, exciting, and surprising announcements, but not like epic scale, right? It's almost like ever since the Bethesda news, they've been trickling out some, somewhat exciting announcements. Like they're trying to build up towards some bigger stuff as they can get more distance from the Bethesda coming out party. Because I don't think they want to be associated with that and compared to that, because they can't top that, right? They're not going to top that unless they buy Square Enix or Capcom or Konami, which is unlikely. But if they were to announce the week after the Bethesda coming out party, like, oh, we bought Housemarque, it would be like, oh, cool, good for you guys. Like, if you're like, you got one studio, that would be everybody. And I think that's bullshit, because Housemarque is awesome and Bluepoint's awesome if they went that direction. But I can guarantee you Twitter would be like, really? Bethesda is 9 studios and you go for 1? Ugh. Like, that would be the reaction if they did that. So
I don't mean to keep interrupting. That I do, just for shits and giggles. They're going to do the same thing with Gamescom, where they're just going to be like, Microsoft's going to have their event, they're going to start it, and then next thing you know, Twitter's going to be ablaze. Sony just bought out Square.
Right. Well, I mean, that was exactly right. It was opening night live, right, with Jeff Keighley when Insomniac announced that?
Yeah, they Insomniac.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, that was like out of nowhere. I don't even know that was a Tuesday. Was that a random Tuesday for that one, or was that a different day of the week?
I think it was Thursday.
They're not even sticking to Tuesdays anymore, though. The Tuesday was the PSVR, but the Evo thing we're going to talk about, I'm pretty sure that was Thursday. So they're all over the place right now, and I'm kind of excited about it.
That was Thursday.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited to see if they've got some stuff up their sleeve to respond to this news as we get away from it. As I said, I don't think they want to be too close to it, but I think that they have some stuff they're waiting to announce. There we go. That is the level update. We are going to take another short commercial break. When we come back, we are wrapping up the seasonal segment, you guys. By the end of the hour, we will know the #1 game of the decade officially. And it's very important because it comes from us. The official decade top game.
It cannot be argued.
No, it cannot be argued. Although you guys have a say in the chat, of course. Get ready, get those fingers ready.
Champion.
We're gonna have all those polls posted in chat, so you can vote as well on these battles. We're gonna have like another 16 tonight to decide the top game of the decade. But hold on tight, Boca Loca. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 3 of Next Level Gamescast, a Level Up Network's monthly gaming talk show, live here on Twitch at twitch.tv/levelupshow on the 3rd Sunday of every month. Make sure you never miss an episode. Hit that heart button here and turn on notifications to get alerts whenever we go live with either variety gaming or talk shows. Do the same for Vince and Tom for their channels. Of course, ! Vince in chat, ! Tom in chat as well. Get in on those, please. And if you're listening to this as an archive or watching as an archive, subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/levelupnetwork. Even if you're not into podcasts, go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, search for Next Level Gamescast. Please hit that follow button. We're trying to get some traction with our podcast, now 3 or 4 months into it. And of course, become a part of the community even when we're not live on Discord at discord.gg/levelupnetwork. Before I move on to the seasonal segment, big thank you to Socks for the follow tonight, the only follow of the night. Let's keep those coming, guys. Hit that heart button. And we also had 100 Beatties coming from Rose. We had Henry DJP with the resub. You guys are amazing for going above and beyond for this channel. We really do appreciate it. A reminder that After Show is a possibility. Type in ! After Show in the chats, and you can learn a little bit more about that. $30 for 30 minutes, $60 for 60 minutes, and that's just all about talking with you guys about really anything, listening some music, maybe watching some videos. It's just sort of like a hangout, I guess you could say, if you would like to activate that. And of course, we have 2 new stretch goals. Tip goal hasn't been determined yet, but bit goal is a brand new thing. We're working towards a Lord of the Rings live watch along on our Discord following the Lights Up show on the first Saturday of every month. If you would like to contribute to that, it is all about damn biddies. But let us move on to our seasonal segment, the final night of this tournament to determine the top game of the decade. It's been a heated battle so far. Very, very heated. Let me pull up the bracket here. We started off with 64 games. We are now narrowed down to 16, I think. Is that where we're at?
I think so.
Or no, yeah, 16. 8 times 2. We are down to 16 games.
That's maths.
That is maths, you guys.
I can't math.
So, are we ready for this? There's going to be a poll in the chat, guys. Make sure you respond. You will have a minute for each battle in this first round, so you got to be pretty quick. We're not going to spend too long until we narrow it down. But right now, let us begin the top 64 games of the decade. Final nights. There's some, oh man, there's some tough ones here, man. There's some real tough ones in here. I'm not feeling good about this.
I'm actually feeling pretty chill about it, to be honest. There's only one battle that I'm going to probably be heated against, but after that, I think I'm going to be fine.
All right, well, let's find out what the first battle is going to be. And we have The Last of Us versus The Last Guardian.
Fight!
Okay.
That's not going to be too bad. I think we can all agree on that. I love The Last Guardian a whole lot. But, yeah, I got to go with The Last of Us. Oh, what the hell happened there? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I put in the... let me pause the video for a sec. I put in
Look what you
our
did.
normal game show polls. You just stop that one. No big deal. It'll start up in just a second. All right, let me go to polls. Where is it at? Top 64. There we go. All right. Poll has been stopped, right? Did I
Yes.
stop it? Yes.
And you can no longer win anything.
Okay, let me, you know, just in case, I don't want it to be shut down early. I'm going to shut down Stream Deck and restart Stream Deck. I don't want this to screw up.
It's all good.
Hold on a sec. Stream Deck, got all my hotkeys in there. First one, let's talk about this. Last of Us versus The Last Guardian. I mean, is this even close for you guys?
I mean, I know Tom's totally going to vote for Last Guardian based off his description of what you've been playing. Am I right, Tom? Am I right in assuming that?
Sorry, say again. I kind of broke up there.
No. Never mind. It's all good.
It's all good. All right, vote, guys. It's in there. I got to go with The Last of Us. Last of Us is
it's
one
Last
of those genre-defining. Oh god, I just voted for the wrong one. It doesn't matter. Everybody's gonna vote for the right one. And I'll count mine anyway towards Last of Us. It's one of those genre-defining games. I love The Last Guardian. I had a major emotional reaction to it, but that's the same for The Last of Us. I mean, my god, that's a game that sticks with you. I remember I didn't like immediately have this like teary reaction to the end of The Last of Us, but it's one of those ones where you just keep thinking about it and it like kind of eats away at you with like the questions, the ambiguity of it all. And like Last of Us Part 2 in that way for me. I'm not sure about everybody else, but those games just, they eat away at you.
Finished that game super late at like 10 o'clock at night or something like that one night. I remember just staring at like the start screen for like 2 more hours, just going, wow. Like, you know, like that was a big moment for me.
Yeah, 100%. Last of Us did win. It will move on to round number 4, but there actually were a few votes for Last Guardian in there. Pretty cool to see. Next battle we have. That's not right.
Fight!
Is it? No, that's not right. 7 Remake versus Last of Us Part 2.
Yes.
7 Remake versus The Last of Us Part 2. Not Last Guardian. That was the previous one. Sorry, I put the wrong image in there. But it is right in the chat. 7 Remake versus The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, this is easy for me.
This is it's easy. Like, I know what I want to vote for, but I feel like I need to say 7 Remake is probably my second favorite game of the generation, right behind The Last of Us Part 2. So it's like, even though I can actually vote for this pretty easily, it's closer than you might think, even though I have no issues at all voting for The Last of Us Part 2. A lot of it has to do that we still need to see what all this setup means for 7 Remake.
That's, you know, I think you and I have been hitting on that point a lot. That's actually been my biggest thing with Remake Part 1 is it's not done yet, you know, in that type of sense for me. Like, I know it's a good game, but it's not finished yet. I want to see where is the end road on all. That's the thing that sucks about it.
Right.
It's like, what the story is.
When all is said and done, 10 years from now, however long it takes, I might say that 7 Remake as a saga, I prefer to Last of Us Part 2, but I need to see it all play out.
Right.
I really do.
Well, to be fair, I didn't think that we needed a Last of Us Part 2, and after having played it, I still don't think we needed a Last of Us Part 2.
Screw you, Tom.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna make the excuse that, oh well, you know, 7's not really technically finished yet, so I don't know if I can choose that one.
Yeah.
Well, frankly, 2 didn't need to exist, period. So I'm not choosing 2.
No,
Well, this battle we have now, guys, Batman Arkham City versus Journey.
this is another easy one for me.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
It is for me as well.
Very super.
But I don't think it's going to be a landslide. I really doubt that. I'd be surprised if it is.
Yeah.
So far, it is, though. It's 3 votes in a row, all for Journey. Okay, we got some Arkham City love in here. I'm trying to remember so after this round, I had to predict what people would vote for to make the videos and try and choose games that I thought would like be the right ones to show on screen. And I think I predicted that Arkham City would win this, and looks like it took a head. There it is. A lot of zeros just popped in there. I'm not surprised. I figured Arkham City would take this, but here's the thing about Journey. If it were to release now, I don't think it would be a big deal. But when it released in 2012, that game was special. Like, so special for what it meant, what it represented within a different space within gaming and developments, the story being told, the asynchronous online. It was a really special title that stuck with me to this day, without a doubt. One of my favorite
It's
experiences.
100% a special title. For me though, and I think for a lot of people, I mean, Arkham City means a lot as being like a very good Batman story.
That is true too.
It
I remember
is.
floored by that opening multiple times. I was like, oh my God, Rocksteady, please stop. Like, I couldn't handle it.
Arkham City did win though and moved on. We're now battling Bloodborne versus Gone Home.
Yeah, this is another easy one for me.
I love Gone Home, but this is the one where it loses for me.
That's fine.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I get
This
it.
is where I have to call it.
Yep, gotta go with the Eldritch Horror for me.
Yep.
Yep. Nope. I'm not mad by it at all. Whatsoever.
Yeah, they're both fantastic games, very different games. This is a tough one, right? It's really just your gut feeling like that. You can't compare them.
Do you love combat? Do you love really obscure storytelling that you really have to be paying attention to, and you start going, oh, what's the Japanese translation versus the English translation?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get it.
Yeah.
I think Gone Home is one of those games that for specific people that's probably a very powerful story.
Yep.
Even for me it was, but I know that game probably really hit some chords with a certain demographic, and it's got to be powerful and very very impactful, long lasting impact for those people. But
I hate
Bloodborne
this next fight.
has won and moves on to round number 4. Next battle we have is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice versus Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. This is a tough one for you, Vince?
It's very tough.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Come
They're
on.
both here. Listen to me. They're both pinnacle gameplay. Pinnacle.
Yes, I agree with that.
That's the problem. Whereas Sekiro has the better narrative, where Metal Gear Solid 5 fails on that. The thing is, Metal Gear
I didn't
Solid
put it
5
into-
has still yet to be beaten
Sorry, guys.
from a third-person tactical shooter. Nothing has come close to it. Period. Whereas Sekiro has been a refinement of action genre. That's the hard part, you know? So it's tough for me because that's just where it's at. It's like, which one of these do I like the more? And I think I have to actually abstain and just see what happens.
Oh wow, Nolan, make sure if you did, okay. Oof, God, Metal Gear Solid 5 takes the lead. This is gonna be a tight one, I think.
I don't know. It's tough for me to say Metal Gear Solid 5 just with how that game ends.
Yes, 100%.
Like,
Oh, I get it, guys. I get it. I 100% get it.
I mean, that game is half of what it should be.
yes, especially coming off like you play 4 and then you play that. Like, yes,
Tom, did you
gameplay
vote?
Wise, I did not vote, but I don't feel fair voting because I have a tough time voting for Phantom Pain, but I didn't play Sekiro.
Oh my God, I'm so bummed by this. I can't believe Metal Gear Solid is gonna win this. No, like so many people didn't vote on this one.
We were here just to suffer.
Oh, you guys are killing me. Ah,
There it is.
you guys are killing me.
Bloodborne moved forward. You know, it wasn't like Bloodborne got ousted almost like it did last week.
Yeah,
Last
I can't
month.
believe Metal Gear Solid 5 is going into like the final rounds though. That's insane to me. Oh my God. Okay. Yikes.
Our community played us like a damn fiddle.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I'm bummed. I'm real bummed about that one. Gravy biscuits. That I don't know if I should count that.
I think if it's fine. If it
If
makes
you
you
didn't vote, trying to think here. He would have voted for Sekiro. It looks like, right? But that would have tied it. So we still need one more, honestly.
And that would come down to me.
Yeah.
Dramatic reveal.
Well, hold on a sec. Gravy Biscuits, are you serious with your vote?
Yeah.
We'll count it. I don't mind counting it 5 seconds late. But I just want to make sure it's not like a joke vote or a troll vote or something. Do you actually feel like Sekiro?
We gotta maintain the integrity of our super scientific way of determining game of the decade.
Tom, then you flip the coin if he's serious.
If he's serious about it, then yes, I flip the coin.
And the coin gets flipped.
Unless you want to vote, Vince. You can vote.
I know, but then I feel like it's gonna weigh it out now.
Oh, he hasn't played either. Then we're not.
All right, yeah. So then it's a joke vote. All right.
Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain moves on. All right, I'm bummed, but it is what it is. Next battle. This one is. This one's interesting because there's a dark horse in here, for sure. Did not expect to go this far. What remains of Edith Finch versus Titanfall 2? Edith Finch has been the dark horse
of this tournament.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I'm gonna vote for it.
I'm not. I'm still going with Titanfall 2, the greatest FPS single-player campaign in probably, at least in the decade.
Edith
certainly.
Finch is the master hand of this tournament, without a doubt.
It's the master hand.
I can't believe this. It's tight right now. It's tied, but oh my god, this is crazy. This might come down to a coin flip. Edith Finch.
I really hope it does.
Punching above its weight. Oh, there it is. Tiebreaker for Titanfall.
There you go. All is right in the world.
Give it to me. Come on, everybody. Let's admit it. Titanfall 2, it deserves it. Deserves it a lot.
Can it be done?
I think it's going to be done.
I think it is. I think 11 votes is all we're going to get on this one.
For the prospect of potentially a Titanfall 3, which will never happen, but still.
You'll get your Titanfall 3 X and you'll...
All right, Edith Finch, you battled hard, Edith Finch. You really did. Went so much further than I think anybody thought you would. But it is over.
It is March Madness. The Cinderella story doesn't always hang around.
No. Titanfall 2 moves on. And the next battle number 7 of tonight's, is The Witcher 3 versus Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice.
This is easy for me again.
Yeah, easy one for me. But I don't know which one you're going to go with, Vince. You guys are insane.
No, Vince is right.
You have let Cyberpunk cloud you.
You know, you say that, and you might be right, and I don't want to discuss more about that. But the more I've found out the development of Witcher 3, the more and more I've kind of come to...
This isn't a discussion on development behind each. It's what is the better game.
The thing is, though, is like... I don't know, like Witcher 3 is still like a great game, but like Hellblade is so unique and was such an actual like gem for what AA gaming could have done that promise is never going to come back now because of everything that's happened.
Hellblade is 100%. You want to talk about a game that punches above its weight? Hellblade is that game, period. It is a much tighter experience to me than The Witcher is.
It's not
does a
70 hours
long. A lot more things that are a lot more interesting, I feel.
I'm shocked.
Like look, Witcher 3, great game.
No,
fantastic game. But like I'm not taking anything away from it, but Hellblade to me, that was a much more unique and engaging experience, and I think that's why it deserves the vote.
Oh, you guys screwed up all my videos. Thank you.
Yes.
My God, these are crazy. All right, final battle in this round. We got God of War versus Nier Automata.
You
guys gonna vote for Nier now?
Or we become as gods.
Are you gonna vote for Nier now? You maniacs!
Maybe if you're gonna be a jerk about it.
My God.
Nah.
What is going on tonight? This is craziness.
It's God of War. Pff, you kidding me?
It is. It's God of War.
A game that was able to somehow take the meme character of like, oh, it's Kratos. What's he angry about now? And completely redefine him. Yeah.
I was watching the ending of God of War today, just randomly. I was kind of going down the YouTube rabbit hole because I haven't played it since release, and oh my God, that ending is amazing. Unbelievable.
Still to this day, boot up the game just to play the Stranger fight because I'm always so floored by it every single time. I still get goosebumps from that sequence every single time. I don't get it.
Amazing.
Hold it off.
I'm gonna say to Nier Automata's credit. I mean,
great,
you look at that game. That is a game that introduced a lot of people to who Yoko Taro is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That weird, strange, fantastic little man. and his zip drive full of fan art that he owns.
Yep.
And the fact that that probably drove a lot of people to start going deep down into the Drakengard wiki hellhole that exists, and they realized like how much of a crazy genius this guy is. Like, I think for no other reason than that deserves some recognition here.
You got a vote. I did get one vote from Freakers, so there you go.
The gameplay in and of itself too.
Okay,
is
so
also fantastic.
we need to do an important PSA here. Obviously, I could not predict, and I was way off in what I thought would move on to these rounds. So these polls in the chat will not have a game listed with them. It is going to be option 0 and option 1, because you're going to use vote 0 and vote 1. I will say out loud, and I will be very clear on what option is what game. Pay attention. Make sure you vote for the right games, you guys. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
For the next round. All right. Moving on to round number 4 in this tournament. The first battle is option 0, The Last of Us. Option 1, The Last of Us Part 2. Option 0, The Last of Us. Option 1, The Last of Us Part 2.
I say it's got to be The Last of Us vanilla. I think that was the better game.
Vanilla?
Vanilla, yeah, it's not 2,
Yeah.
it's vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it had that multiplayer content, which I think was a great value add.
I agree with that. I'm really kind of basing this on the main campaign, I will admit. Partially because I'm just not a big multiplayer guy, but I feel like that is the heart of these games, without a doubt. I think that going back to The Last of Us now, it's hard to, in a way, actually. I just feel like from a storytelling and a mechanical standpoint, Last of Us 2 is just so much more ambitious that it doesn't make The Last of Us Part 1 bad in any way. It's still a masterpiece, but it actually does show how much it could be improved upon, that game, in my opinion. And the chat agrees. The Last of Us Part 2 moves on to round number 5. The next battle of round 4. Pay attention, you guys. Option 0 is Batman Arkham City. Option 1 is Bloodborne. Option 0, Batman Arkham City. Option 1, Bloodborne.
Batman's combat, at the end of the day, comes down to the fact that it is a repeated combat system that is everywhere. That is Assassin's Creed. That is Batman in and of itself. That's become now Spider-Man. That was Mad Max's video game. A lot of the gameplay itself tends to get kind of lost. Whereas you play Bloodborne, that is still, despite the fact that it is still following some of the basic tenets of what a FromSoft game was, in a Souls series at least, it changed the way that you had to approach everything to be more offensively minded, and straight up told you, remember all those Dark Souls strats that you had? Yeah, those ain't working here.
Pretty surprised that Arkham City is beating Bloodborne, I have to admit.
I'm not surprised, because I think more people flocked to...
I agree with that, but I'm still surprised, actually.
Batman.
Because I think Bloodborne is that much better than Arkham City. But all right, Arkham City moves on to fight The Last of Us Part 2 in round number 5. But we still have 2 battles left. I was actually correct on these first 2 videos. Last of Us Part 1 versus Part 2 and Batman Arkham City versus Bloodborne. But I'm not right on this one. Option 0 is Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. Option 1 is Titanfall 2.
Also, yes, Dark Passenger, I hate Batman.
Option 0, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. Option 1, Titanfall 2. I almost want to vote Titanfall 2 because I'm pissed at Metal Gear Solid 5 for beating Sekiro. But
don't be mad, because I'm voting Titanfall 2 too. That's the better
no, I'm going to
campaign.
vote for Metal Gear Solid 5. I like it more than Titanfall 2, but not that I don't like Titanfall 2. I do.
That's
but,
the last lie.
But I think I'll give this one Metal Gear Solid 5.
Slander.
It's tight though, man. This is a real good one here. This is going back and forth, back and forth. Holy crap. What's it gonna be, you guys? Titanfall 2 tells a great story, I have to say. It really does.
It's
definitely much better than Metal Gear Solid 5
man.
tells its story. But mechanically, Metal Gear Solid 5 is a beast. An absolute
I don't
beast.
know, man. That chapter where you're going through the different time periods.
That's amazing.
Mechanically, that's such a tight experience. I love every second of that.
Wow, I actually thought What Remains of Edith Finch would go on, didn't I? Wow, I'm surprised. I'm remembering now what I predicted would be in these videos. I'm a little surprised. But it has been decided that Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain will move on to round number 5. This is an interesting final battles we got going on here, but the last one in round 4 is Option 0, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. Option 1, God of War. 0, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. 1, God of War. 2 Norse mythology games battling it out. And this is the end for Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice.
Good run though.
Yeah, it had a good run. Had a very good run. It did.
Sometimes that one seed just pops up out in front of you.
Yep. Yeah, this wasn't going to happen. I think I'm pretty sure what the final battle is going to be, and it's what I thought it would be, without a doubt. Yeah. From the very beginning, like literally from the moment I created this, I thought this would be the final battle coming up.
Twas a good run.
A good run. Twas a good run.
You know what makes me upset though, Tom? I'm really mad that we don't have a not like a remaster of Titanfall 1 and 2, but like not a remaster of Titanfall 1 and 2. You think that they'd have done that by now?
You would think, but I don't think EA's not willing to just drop the money for them to do that.
Or at least
they would prefer that they spend more time either trying to make another Jedi game or to just keep doing Apex.
Well, hey, it's turning out great, man. It's crazy how much that's gone.
I'm going to pause this for a second before the battle begins. We are now in round number 5, and I have extended the round lengths for each battle to 1.5 minutes, just to give us a little more time to discuss some more contentious battles, potentially, because we are in the semifinals. Like, this is... We're getting there. Like, these are now, according to you guys, the top 4 games of the generation. Of the decade, sorry. So these are amazing, amazing games, according to everybody involved. We need to talk about this a little bit more. So... battle number 1 of round number 5 is Option 0, The Last of Us Part 2. Option 1, Batman Arkham City. Arkham City's been punching above its weight so far, in my opinion, but this has got to be the end, I hope, for it.
Repeat the more time.
0 is Last of Us Part 2. 1 is Batman Arkham City. 0, The Last of Us Part 2. 1, Batman Arkham City. Batman is great because, as you guys said, like, it honors the lore of Batman in an amazing way. And all of the Arkham games do that. I love how much they stuff into those worlds from the history of Batman. I think where it falls to The Last of Us Part 2 is its combat. It's good. It's solid, but it's not as compelling and as deep, and doesn't have as many different avenues, I think, as The Last of Us had for me. I think that Part 2 mastered the stealth action approach of that now series, and and I thought the level design, specifically in Part 2, allowed that mechanical system to really spread its wings. I thought it was really amazing the whole way through. I never got tired of it. Whereas Arkham City, and all of them, honestly, I started to get a little bit tired of the repeated, press counter at the same time, bang, 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 flip over here. It gets a little bit samey, in my opinion, by the end. I think the stealth is fun in Arkham City, but again, I think the stealth in Last of Us Part 2 is better.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with that. Just Last Part 2 is just a...
Last of Us Part 2 moves on. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, maybe. Am I right?
So
did it end though? I feel like it didn't end.
Like it end.
That's weird. Let me put it in the chat myself because I didn't see a poll stop.
Start. The poll didn't start, I don't think.
It did. No,
you did poll stop for the last fight, and then EA hates Titanfall like Tom hates Batman.
All right, I'll just count it then. Hold on.
Yeah.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, Last of Us Part 2 wins. Last of Us Part 2 wins by a pretty commanding lead. A couple for Arkham City in there. But Last of Us Part 2 moves on to the final round of this tournament. Next up, we have option 0, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Option 1, God of War. 0, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. 1, God of War.
Much as
I feel like this is kind of disappointing in my opinion. Like, I feel like Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain should not be going up against God of War myself, but
That's tough. It's a tough battle to throw them in there. But eventually, you're gonna have to face somebody who's a really heavy hitter, and you're gonna have to deal with it.
should have been Sekiro. Sekiro should have went up, or Hellblade even for that matter, but that already happened in the final round. It should have been Sekiro against this. It's so clearly God of War. This is one of those ones where I don't feel like we really even need to have much of a discussion.
Oh.
God of War is a masterclass in combining gameplay and story.
And genres.
Yeah, and presentation and like just everything. Everything. There's what are the downsides of God of War? What are the negatives of God of War?
I think sometimes the open world portion where you're going around in the boat, while you do get those nice little human moments of him talking with Atreyu, I feel like those can still drag.
Yeah, it's weird for me. Nope. I don't.
Yeah, it didn't happen for me, but I can understand why that would for.
Yep.
Yeah, I could understand that. It didn't for me, but I can certainly understand that. I was just so like involved in that world and just soaking it in that any time I had to just paddle around and take in the environment, I was like, yes, this is just so beautiful, so well realized. I just would inspect all of the work that went into it, and just my mind was blown.
God, guys, I was too busy throwing my axe at everything I could because I loved that whole entire animation. I just sat there for one day just throwing
Very
it.
satisfying.
Catch, throw, catch. I was like, I'm love.
All right, you guys, this is it. The final round and what I thought it would be, and it's a tough one. It really is. This is a tough one. I think it will be for the chat at least, and it's pretty tough for me even. I think I have my decision, but the final round of this tournament, the battle will be option 0, The Last of Us Part 2, option 1, God of War.
And I don't
0, The Last of Us Part 2, 1, God of War.
I don't care who wins.
They're both amazing. Yes, they're both absolutely
wins, everyone
amazing
loses.
games. This is the right battle to close it, in my opinion. This is exactly the way it should have gone.
Yep.
I think if I had to choose, I am going to go with The Last of Us Part 2 myself. What about you guys? What did you vote for?
I would go for Last of Us Part 2, mostly because of the actual technical stuff that game does, and its story and its music. Everything about that is, you guys know me. You guys know exactly how that is for me. And that's just where God of War kind of falters just a teeny bit, is because like its combat is great, but its combat doesn't really stick out until you get to the end, and where you're doing a lot of the crazier stuff. And to me, it doesn't one of those things, you know. Whereas Last of Us Part 2 is a much more consistent experience when it comes to combat, stealth, and everything like that. Plus, I'm a stealth person, so that game really sings to me.
Sure.
Whereas,
Yep, I'm with you there, without a doubt.
I would disagree and say that I felt that God of War's combat, I think, escalates at a significant pace, and the pacing of the escalation is where it needs to be. Versus when you look at, say, Last of Us Part 2. I mean, look, when you fire a gun, you fire a gun.
I know, but it's the choice of not doing it and actually being able to tactically go through. Like, have you done ghosted runs? They're pretty intense to try.
Yeah,
to do.
no, I mean, that game, to bring it down to just shooting a gun, I think is definitely dishonest to what you're capable of doing in that game. Whether it be like even the way you can sneak up and use bottles,
I am much more of a fan, and I feel like I enjoy having much more control in a character action setup. Where I have the ability to work on combos, and if I fail, I know it's my fault. Yeah. Versus if I jack up the difficulty on Last of Us Part 2, somebody will like notice me, and I'm like, that's complete fucking bullshit. There's no way. I apologize for the language, but but like it's when stuff like that happens where it's like, I know there's no reason why you should know that I'm here.
Right. I get it. The combat is deeper in God of War in that there's more mechanics at play. There is. It's a diverse action combat system with RPG thrown in there as well. and different weapon types. Granted, Last of Us has weapon types too, but they're guns. In all intents and purposes, they're all sort of projectile gun weapons. So yes, I can understand feeling like there's more mechanical diversity to God of War, but I do think. I think you're doing a disservice to The Last of Us Part 2 if you break it down to it's a game where you shoot guns. Like I definitely do think that's being a little too I don't know what the word would be, narrow-minded. I'm not trying to call you out, but I feel like there's much more to it than that. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It is over,
then
you guys.
Then I'll take it a step further. It's a game where you shoot guns and you feel really bad about everything because all humanity are all the worst pieces
I
of
still
crap.
disagree with that as well. I don't quite understand why you feel that way.
You always said that. And I don't get that.
I don't get it either. I don't get it at all.
There is absolutely, I don't see, there is no positivity that you take out of any of that. It's everybody is a terrible human being and they're going to be terrible
No, they're
forever.
not. There are plenty of decent people in that game.
Yeah,
They're surviving in a world where you have to do
Most
harsh
of the
things.
decent
But...
human beings in that game end up getting their crap kicked in.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but that's kind of the point.
It doesn't pay to be a good human being in
Yes,
the
not
world
in
of
not
Last
in the
of Us.
apocalypse when you're in a war zone. Yeah, I think if they stayed in Jackson, then they probably would be just fine in the confines of something that's protected by the more harsh human beings. But when you are a decent human being in a war zone, then yeah, you're at a disservice. I think the game clearly shows that. Dina was decent but stupid. I think stupid might be the wrong word. I think she's decent, which is maybe not the right way to be in the apocalypse when you're in a war zone. Yes. I think Owen is got plenty of flaws. Everybody in the game is flawed. That's important to note. But I think Owen at his heart is a decent person. I think he wants to be a good person, which I think matters. I think wanting to be a good person actually is a part of it all. I think that his pregnant girlfriend to be was a decent person. I think Nora was a decent person. A lot of the Fireflies actually, I think, were decent people. I think what it bothers a lot of people
Decent
is
people who were complicit in a murder of another man.
Yes, I agree with that. I think that's a big part of it is that even the most ones that you would expect to be the most decent, like I'm trying to draw a blank on her name. Who was the pregnant girl?
Mel.
Mel. Even her, she was okay with like the hunt. She wasn't okay with like how far it went, clearly, and like the torture of it all. I think none of them were okay with that necessarily, but they were okay with tracking this person down, and like I think that says something, like to even do that. But there's so much nuance to that game. There really is. I don't understand just being so one-sided of like everybody in that game was a terrible person. There's only negativity, no positivity. I think that's way too black and white in a game that has so much nuance. Myself, that's my opinion.
It's okay, Tom. I still love you.
I still love you as well. And congratulations on the win, because God of War, according to you and the majority of the community,
That's right.
God of War is the best game of the entire decade, meaning 2011 up until the end of 2020. God of War is the best game of the decade.
Hack and slash for life.
Amazing. Congratulations to God of War. But you know what? Let's do a bronze medal round. Why not? A quick one. Let's do a 60-second bronze medal round to determine which is better of these two. Option 0, Batman Arkham City, or option 1, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Who gets third place in this thing? I don't want it to be either of these games. I'm going to abstain myself. Neither of these games deserves to be number 3, in my opinion. I'm going to abstain.
Repeat one more time what the IDs were.
0 is Arkham City, 1 is Phantom Pain. I'm not surprised what's winning here. That's probably what I would go with if I had to, but yes, I will abstain from this.
I understand why Vince would go with Phantom Pain. I don't disagree with him that it is the better gameplay
Yes, I agree with that, yeah.
of the two games. But
I know what you're going for, Tom, and I 100% with you.
Full
It's-
package, yeah.
Yep, I get it. But for me, it's just nothing has been met on the market from that standpoint.
That's
You
true,
know,
and that's insane to
it-
me. I don't understand it.
issue. Whereas like we've had Spider-Man, we've had other games take that concept and redefine it, develop it a little bit more, and we've gotten some better results, some not so better results.
Yeah.
Nothing has touched Metal Gear from a gameplay.
Oh yes, it has. Did you not play Metal Gear Survive?
No,
Yes.
I didn't actually. I did not play that. I will admit.
And you know what's funny? I actually kind of did enjoy that. It was whenever the whole "it's not canon" became "it's canon" when I was like, "Nope, I'm out." Just so you guys know, that is canon. That story is canon.
Oh, it's totally canon, 100%, because there's no reason why it shouldn't be canon.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the story is. But let's end this, guys. The top 3 games of the decade are number 1, God of War, number 2, The Last of Us Part 2, and number 3, Batman Arkham City.
All right. I'll live with it.
I'll live with it as well. It's not that third choice is really bizarre to me, but I'll live with it. Anyway, guys, we gotta do our speed run. We got a little bit left in the show. The speed run, of course, is where we go through the smaller stories, although we got some big ones here, and we're gonna go through them as quickly as we possibly can. We've got 17 stories. Some of them are a little bit beefy, so I'm gonna give ourselves a little bit extra time here. I think we want to try and get this done in 27 minutes, and let's do it, you guys. First up, we got a delay watch. Need for Speed has been delayed, but we don't even know like what this game is. It doesn't have an official title, like no subtitle. All we know, and this is the interesting part, is that it was delayed because Criterion has been moved on to Battlefield 5. Or Battlefield 6, actually. Battlefield 6. How do you guys feel about that?
Eh.
Does it bother you?
Nope, doesn't bother me at all. I just figured
it doesn't bother me either. I mean, EA realizes that their bread and butter is going to probably be in Battlefield, and I don't think anybody cares enough about arcade racers. I certainly do, but I know there's not enough people who
sucks,
would.
right, Tom? It sucks. It sucks.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Criterion, again, the guys who made Burnout what it was.
Yeah, I know. And
it kills me. It kills me that that's the case, but if you're looking at it reality-wise, shooters are where the money's at. It's not in arcade racers.
Oh, yeah. Battlefield 6 being next-gen only. I can't wait to see that game as well. I agree with you there in the chat. Gotham Knights has been delayed to 2022. More time to deliver on the best possible experience for players.
I believe you.
Yeah, that's fine. Take the time you need. COVID delays, totally get it.
WB Montreal. I have faith. I'm excited for what it is. So, yes, if you're going to... And they didn't... And the thing was, it was supposed to come out early this year. They're delaying it a whole year. So... I think it's
it could come out early 2022. Who knows how far into 2022 it's been delayed, but yes.
No, I'm saying it was initially announced to be early 2021. So, I mean, it's literally a year.
Early? Did they ever say early?
Yeah.
Really? Wow, I didn't know that. Okay. Interesting.
Because, there was rumors of it being February, and then it got kind of moved over to, maybe June, and then now it's kind of going back. So, yeah.
Lastly, Cyberpunk 2077's update has been delayed. They said, while we clearly wanted to deliver patch 1.2 for Cyberpunk 2077 in the time span we detailed previously, the recent cyber attack on the studio's IT infrastructure and extensive scope of the update means this unfortunately will not happen. Our goal for patch 1.2 goes beyond any of our previous updates. We've been working on numerous overall quality improvements and fixes, and we still have work to do to make sure that that's what you get. Now, I understand this, but I will say I've seen a lot of people consider this to be the final straw. Like, I'm done with this game.
I don't want to really touch. I really don't want to touch the rest of the controversy here behind this. I just want to say this one thing. This game is still not available digitally on PSN. It is still not for sale on PlayStation Network. That's a big deal.
Moving on, let us know in the chat what you guys think of that. But Switch Pro dev kits are out there. CNET writes, the new Switch, which unnamed sources said would likely launch for the holiday 2021 period, will reportedly have a 7-inch OLED. That's a 6.2-inch display on the standard Switch, and 5.5 on Switch Lite. So that's an improvement there. But what's really weird, according to the rumors, this is an OLED upgrade, but it's only 720p is what I saw. Is that still the case, or is that rebutted yet?
Nope, that's not been rebutted, and that's literally killed me on
I do not get that at all. When it's hooked up to the dock, supposedly it can output 4K. That's fantastic. They should have upgraded that screen to 1080p undocked, without a doubt.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
So weird. Especially now that they increased the size
get.
of the screen, because now the 720p is going to be even more obvious in its blurriness on a larger screen. Super, super bizarre, but I'm excited to see what it looks like and excited to see that Legend of Zelda comes out with it, because that's my prediction. Jade Raymond is heading up a new studio called Raven, and they will bring a new IP exclusively to PlayStation. Jade Raymond wrote on the PlayStation blog, "I've been making games for a long time, over 25 years now, and I've had the opportunity to lead the creation of 2 highly successful original IPs and build multiple teams and studios from the ground up. Some of these adventures have been more successful than I could have ever imagined, and others less so. And as I took stock of my career over the last few years and started to think about what to do next, I came to a very simple conclusion. I need to get back to what I love doing most and do so in a way that gives our team the freedom to explore, inspire, and create. And so today I am announcing Haven, an independent studio where many of the talented game developers I've worked with for years and love dearly are coming together to do what we are most passionate about. It's time for us to refocus on games, in a place where we can practice our craft without any barrier or impediments. We want to create worlds where players can escape, have fun, express themselves, and find community. We want to pour our passion into a project. We want to make something wondrous for people to experience because we believe in the power of games to bring joy to people's lives, and Sony does too. Their commitment to excellence is unmatched. It's why I couldn't be happier for their backing and support." This is the one I forgot to bring up, actually, as those peppered announcements that are kind of small because it's early, but it's still like, oh, Sony just keeps kind of coming out with these little peppered announcements ever since the Microsoft acquisition, and it feels like it's meant to be a response and that it's building up potentially to bigger announcements. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I kind of can see it. I can see it being the lead up to something big.
Yeah.
This
Maybe
is a better strategy than Microsoft's strategy of saying, "Hey, look at all these studios. Now prepare to not see anything from them for 3 or 4 years."
Right. Now, we won't see anything from this either for a while. Do you think that's a problem?
No, but the difference is that Sony didn't call an entire press conference and
Yeah, I
throw it
agree
in
with
front
that.
of a giant
It's a tweet.
screen and say,
Yeah.
"Look, we have this person."
I want success for this woman. She has been given the shaft so many times as far as game development being canceled or working for upper management that doesn't give a shit about her.
Dude, working for Stadia has to be its own personal kind of
I'm happy
hell.
she's with Sony. I think this is where she needs to be.
Hearing some of the stuff that happened to her during Ubisoft during the Assassin's Creed IP creation is some of the most frustrating stuff I've seen in quite a long time. It really sucks because she was actually a really huge part in why that franchise took off.
Of course. Yeah.
And Blacklist, she helped lead the team that made one of the best Splinter Cell games that never got a next gen update, even though the game came out a month before next gen consoles back at that time.
Yeah.
I
Definitely did not get the credit it deserves from what I hear. Moving on, Elden Ring's leak is up on screen. It's potato cam, unfortunately, but it is our first official look at gameplay. You guys excited for this?
Yeah.
Does it look as good as you expected it to look?
I mean, there's nothing to say because it's potato cam footage.
Yeah.
But it's matching up to everything that I have heard, and I think the idea of a open world From Software game what they take on like a Mega Man boss structure is extremely interesting, and I can't wait to see what they do with it.
I'm excited to see how they handle open world because I love the zoned approach that they've taken with their other games, and I'm fearful of them moving away from that, but I have faith. I really do, and I'm excited to see how Martin has been involved and how he's developed this world and lore and all of that. So I'm really, really interested in this one. Moving on, we had our State of Play recap. We already covered 7 Remake Intergrade, but we got some other good stuff in there too. Right on screen, we got Kena Bridge of Spirits coming August 24th. Technically a delay, but this trailer was freaking awesome. Don't you guys agree?
Yeah, it was a really great trailer.
Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
my god, it's coming along really well. I hope Sony's backing this game and giving them the time they need, and that seems like what's happening based on that. Returnal got a deep dive, and then not too long after that, we got a big old story trailer for it.
Crazy. The one game we said we didn't even see any more of, we took away saying, wow, we really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was great. And that wasn't the only one. We'll talk about it in a moment. Oddworld Soulstorm coming April 6th and will be free on PlayStation Plus. Another great sequence of PlayStation Plus months.
Yeah. Great call. Great job by getting that as a free game.
Yeah, for sure. Sifu was one of the big debuts. I think it looks freaking awesome. We're going to see it up on screen in a moment here. It is like the Raid and Old Boy and Daredevil, completely focused on CQC, close quarters, hand-to-hand, and the kicks as well, combat. It just looks really, really neat in the way it controls. I'm excited to find out more about that one.
I did find out about it. I did find out a little bit more about it. It's going to be really good, I think.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the trailer I was talking about that we were surprised did such great things for us because we didn't need to see more of it. But that Deathloop trailer was really great.
Yeah, so that I made sure I got it pre-ordered already.
Yeah. How do you feel about it, Tom?
I'm looking forward to it. I thought the trailer was very good for helping to set a tone. Because that's what it was. It was a tone trailer. And I thought they did a very good job. People who may not have paid attention or forgot about it after that trailer, people sure are not going to forget about Deathloop going forward.
Most
For sure.
Andy song I've heard in a very long time.
And here's Sifu up on screen right now. Got a really cool artistic direction. I just want to see a little bit of combat before we skip forward to our next story.
So the way I found out a little bit about this, just real quick, is that the medallion he's wearing is actually what saves him from life. So as you die, you get older. So the whole point is to try to get how far can you make it before you get before you get too old to where you can't continue.
Oh shit, I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is the narrative mechanic. So when you see him progress in age, that's death.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, I'm down for that. I like that. That's a really cool concept. All right, moving on. Play at home is great this year, in my opinion. We did it last year as well, but it's Sony giving to us during this time of need, of stress and anxiety. And the 10 free games this year: Res Infinite, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, which is on April 19th, by the way. Keep that in mind. Abzu, Enter the Gungeon, Subnautica, which is so good. The Witness, one of the best puzzle games I've ever played. Moss for PSVR, Astrobot Rescue Mission, one of the best, if not the best VR game. And Thumper, I also heard great things on PSVR about that one. Paper Beast for PSVR. And on top of that, they're doing a little Funimation Wakanim 90-day trial they're giving away. So I think it's freaking great, man. What a nice giveaway for Play at Home this year.
It's great value for anybody who's a fan of anime or video games.
Yeah,
Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. Everybody's got to get on that.
Yeah, you got to jump on that. Absolutely.
Don't sleep on Res Infinite or Thumper. I think Thumper should also be a standard game as well. I don't think it's just PSVR. I think there's a PSVR support mode for it.
Good.
But Thumper is a very interesting title. It's a rhythm game, and it'll kick your ass if you don't watch.
Going back to Stadia, speaking of Jade Raymond and her disastrous, experience there's reports going around that Google spent tens of millions of dollars just to get Red Dead Redemption 2 on Stadia. This came from Bloomberg, Jason Schreier. He wrote, Stadia misses targets for sales of controllers and monthly active users by hundreds of thousands, according to two people familiar with the matter who asked not to be identified. Google wooed big-name publishers like Ubisoft and Take-Two Interactive, shelling out tens of millions of dollars to get games like Red Dead Redemption 2 on Stadia, according to two people familiar with the deals. Tens of millions of dollars that they could have spent. They could have made 10 fantastic indie games with that. And instead, they put it all towards getting Red Dead Redemption 2 on their platform.
Better yet, they could have spent the tens of millions for that, making actual games that could have utilized Stadia's tech to be a completely different experience that they've always talked about. But nope, let's get one of the most polarizing games to come out. Like, I know it's a critically successful game, Red Dead 2, but from a user standpoint, that game is so polarizing from people. There's people who either love that game or they absolutely freaking hate it. And
it kind of goes to show the people who are working on Stadia are likely people who have heard of video games but actually don't have any idea on what the heck they're doing.
Yeah, yes, video games? Yes. Pokemon Day. We got a new Pokemon Snap trailer. Baby. Yeah, Pokemon Snap trailer looks fun. I wish Mike was here because I wanted to really double down on his prediction that it's going to get 85 on Metacritic. I want to poll in the chat on this one as well in a moment once this one goes away. What about you guys? What's your prediction? I think that it's going to get like a 75.
You know what's funny? Is I haven't paid a single thing attention to it because I'm just going to go into it blind. I really honestly do not want to know anything about it.
I don't care what it scores. I'm excited for it because Pokemon Snap is like my childhood. But I think this is going to be a game that is either too short or spreads itself too thin. I just don't think it's going to do great.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember what Pokemon Snap was, and that was a game that you could beat in like 3 hours or whatever it was.
Exactly. You're exactly right. That's what I remember most about that game.
Yeah.
We also had a
experience.
Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are getting, those are the remakes actually. So those are being remade, Diamond and Pearl. And then the big one up on screen right now, Pokemon Legends Arceus is their approach at doing a true open world Pokemon game, kind of Breath of the Wild style a little bit, even from a visual standpoint. Although I think it looks not near as attractive as Breath of the Wild. I think this graphical, style they went with and how they achieved it is leaving a lot to be desired. Personally, what about you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, there's this weird alpha look to it that's why I'm not saying it's not finished. I mean, look at that. I mean, like even like some of the animations, they're like 15 frames from what I can
Oh
tell.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, it's the Switch software and everything like that. I like the idea though of an open world Pokemon game. So
Sure, it's what we always wanted, right?
I'm keeping an eye on it, but the expectation is not there because I don't trust the game company, not that game company, Game Freak and
Yeah,
at this point
I
because
agree.
I don't think they're doing it right.
Anthem Next has officially been canceled. After a stint of trying to prove themselves to EA, they, I guess, ultimately failed and weren't able to convince them to continue supporting the franchise while we continue to make progress against all our games projects at BioWare. Working from home during the pandemic has had an impact on our productivity, and not everything we had planned as a studio before COVID-19 can be accomplished without putting undue stress on our teams. Game development is hard. Decisions like these are not easy. Moving forward, we need to laser focus our efforts as a studio and strengthen the next Dragon Age and Mass Effect titles while continuing to provide quality updates to Star Wars: The Old Republic. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. I don't even think they should have messed around at all with it. They should have just called it, and that was it. But
Yeah, they kept it alive much longer than it needed to be.
yeah, they should have just ripped off that Band-Aid.
I'm not gonna be too mean about it, but here's the thing I don't like about this is that like out of every game that always gets compared to Anthem as a games of service, everyone needs to remember Anthem ran away from its roadmap literally a month after it came out. It was done, and they should have canceled it then. And just it's a surprise of no one. Sucks, but it's a surprise of no one.
Hogwarts Legacy will allow for trans characters. CNOT writes, Harry Potter game Hogwarts Legacy will reportedly let players choose trans characters. The role-playing game will enable players to customize their character's gender, placement in the wizarding school, as well as their body type and voice. Players can also choose how they'll be addressed by other characters in the game, according to the report. And this is followed up by fitting news that the lead designer, who was a part of that YouTube controversy, being a part of Gamergate and a lot of other things, he has resigned, quit not too long after this. IGN writes, Hogwarts Legacy lead designer Troy Leavitt has left developer Avalanche Software and quit the project following controversy. Leavitt became the center of controversy 2 weeks ago when journalist Liam Robertson pointed out that the designer had previously uploaded a number of videos in the past that, against, among other subjects, expressed support for the Gamergate movement and downplayed high-profile cases of sexual harassment. The right moves being made, I feel, personally, for this game to succeed, no matter what. It is supporting J.K. Rowling. We all know that. And you guys can all do with your money what you feel is right. I think that as the developers, I feel like they're doing what they can, and I feel like I do want to support them.
Yeah, and so here's the thing that I'm going to say. I probably won't get this day one because I'll probably wait for reports on how this is handled actually in game.
Yeah.
If it's not a complete cluster of fire, then I think we're seeing a definitive FU. JK, like, yeah, you own the property, but we're still going to do this type of stuff in it without your idiotic views obscuring the thing.
Yeah, they might need to go even further. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on, good news, Destruction All-Stars will not be $70. It'll actually only be $20. So a big decrease in cost. And on top of that, I think you said recently, Vince, that they're improving some of the progression mechanics.
So they recently just patched the game, I think about 2 weeks ago, to where they add some more game modes, and they actually did the one thing that Tom complained about last month, was that in the in-game challenges now do give you the premium currency now. So you can actually, the money that you would buy with real money, you can actually earn that a little bit in-game. I don't know what the actual rate is. I haven't done the research on that, but they're making the right moves there.
Neither have I.
We'll just see if they actually can keep the game going. I think it's still doing well, like from a game player base.
Yeah, I think it can still have life. Naughty Dog is hiring for a multiplayer game with robust longevity. It's an economy designer, was spotted on the website. Ensure robust longevity, design, implement, and tune game economy. So people are trying to make a big deal out of this. This really could just be factions. It doesn't need to be something new.
And this is where the thing for me with factions is like, everything that I have heard is definitely this is all rumors and leaks, so really quick here. Free to play, battle royale, hybrid, PvE, PvP game on PS4, PS5, and PC.
Okay.
So
that'd be really cool.
For an economy designer, you need your microtransactions, and you also need player progression systems.
We got our MPD results. For the month of February, Nintendo Switch was the best-selling hardware of the month, but PS5 is now the fastest-selling console of all time in total dollar sales in the first 4 months, and is now second place in unit sales behind PS4 by less than 1%. So obviously, if they didn't have shortages, they would have been far surpassing PS4 at this point, having a very, very good launch. Going over to games, I'm going to focus on the new ones. Little Nightmares 2 in the number 6 spot. That is pretty freaking awesome. For Tarsier. Persona 5 Strikers at number 3. I'm kind of shocked by that, honestly. That this really anime Japanese game is in the top 3. I think that shows really strong support for this franchise in general, and I think it being on Switch has a lot to do with that as well, but that franchise is really strong now.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised how strong it's become. And up on screen, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, number 1 for the month. No surprise there. Mario just has that power, of course, no matter what. Have you guys been checking out at all? Bowser's Fury?
No, I won't. I probably won't touch it. I mean, Bowser's Fury is the only thing I'm interested in, so I'm hoping that they do a standalone, which is a Nintendo, and they won't. So
Yeah, you know they won't.
I won't get that until like it's more discounted or my interest gets way too high.
Doesn't All-Stars actually go away at the end of the month?
Destruction All-Stars? Yes.
No, Super Mario All-Stars.
Yes, I'm sorry. Super Mario All-Stars, yes, should be gone by the end
That's
of this month.
so weird to me. Like, nobody's talking about that, but that game, like, disappears and you can't buy it anymore at the end of this month. Such a weird thing they're doing with
It's
that.
very odd.
Yeah. Square Enix Presents. They did a sort of direct style thing this month, and it was pretty good. I think it had moments where were a little bit weird, like the Tomb Raider cookbook and stuff, and they didn't announce any new Tomb Raider for the 25th anniversary, so that was kind of a bummer. They do have the collection coming. But we did get an Avengers 2021 roadmap, which is fantastic. Going into more detail, March will be Operation Hawkeye Future Imperfect on next-gen consoles.
Beat it.
You already
Yeah.
beat it?
It's 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
They're short little bite-sized things. So again, just to kind of go here, I'll take us over real quick. So spring,
Go
they're
ahead.
going to Technion Anomaly, Red Room Takeover. There's going to be different events that are actually brand new content. Then in the summer and beyond, we'll have the Cosmic Cube, which will resolve the Hawkeye storyline. Wasteland Patrol is going to be adding a new type of gameplay mode to it. And then by the end of this year, we should have War for Wakanda expansion, which is featuring Black Panther, which has gotten some really great support. On the flip side of that, Spider-Man is no longer coming in early summer, which is a big fail on everyone's announcement. That. The big thing with here, the Avengers, is this is a good thing to see. There's a content roadmap, but they have to stick with this. I can already see the game's already teetering again. I really don't know how much longer this game technically has.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
The biggest focus was Life is Strange True Colors, the next official Life is Strange game, like full title here. We're talking about $60 and not episodic. Like, this is all one game, and it's focused on an empath. So her power, if you want to call it that, is that she can feel the emotions of others, and it seems like she almost like absorbs those emotions, and sometimes it can be too much for her, causing like explosions. She's investigating the loss of her brother. I don't know if it's a murder or homicide or accident or what, but she's investigating that in some way, utilizing her powers. And it has a couple characters from past Life is Strange games, from what I understand. And I think it looks like a pretty big update as far as its graphics go and visuals go. So I think they're investing a lot in this franchise at Square Enix, actually.
Oh, without a doubt. It's a nice little indie title that they can put out that has a nice little, very independent Wes Anderson kind of feel to it, and that inevitably gets ratcheted up to the 10th gear by the end of it in the third act. So yeah,
Sure.
This is great for them.
And Dark Passenger, yeah, it kind of is like Mantis. I would agree with that. And lastly, a surprise. A lot of people didn't expect this, but Project Athia was shown at the very end of the Direct, and it got its new title. It's called Forspoken. You got Frey as your main character, and you got a little glimpse of gameplay at the end. And I'm actually going to put it up full screen for you guys, because that is what everybody's focusing on. That and her saying mother effing dragon. But the speed and fluidity of the combat, which you're going to see after the title, is really exciting, in my opinion. How do you guys feel about the title, Forspoken?
It's just funny to me how that everyone thought that was the Final Fantasy 14 expansion.
Yeah.
And guess what the name was, and now it's like, oh, wait, there it is.
I found that it actually is a word. I didn't think it was, but it kind of just means to predict or to speak to the future, which goes along with the idea that this might be the follow-up to Witch, which was Chapter 0, which came after the tech demo for Agni's Philosophy. It seems like this really is the spiritual evolution of that, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And I think Frey looks like a really cool character myself. So I'm pretty excited for that, for Spoken. Coming out in 2022 as well, confirmed, according to that direct. Got a couple of quick ones here. Animal Crossing is getting Build-A-Bears. You guys, let us know in the chat, which Animal Crossing villager do you most want? We kind of need Mike here for this because I don't think you were Animal Crossing guys. It's Isabel. I didn't even put her in here. I was looking at all like the most popular ones. And I think Sherb is a real big one. Seems like people really like Sherb. But that's great. That's adorable. I can't wait to see what they actually look like. Denuvo is coming to PS5 to fight cheating.
By cheating. Make sure that's clear to everyone. It's just cheating. It's not the DRM, anything like that. It's just cheating.
The leader in video game protection offers its anti-cheat solution through this program to publishers and developers whose games are available on PS5. Approximately 70% of their revenue is earned in the first 2 weeks after the launch of a game. Many developers risk losing their player base if a game is overrun by cheaters. So there you go. And finally, let's give a couple minutes here, close this off, and finish out the speed run. The Last of Us HBO series confirmed to cover the full game in Season 1 alone. I'm kind of surprised at this. I thought they would split the first game into 2 seasons. But a lot of interesting tidbits in here. I'm going to go through the quote from Neil Druckmann. He said, quote, "We talked at length that Season 1 of the show is going to be the first game. As far as the superficial things, like should a character wear the same plaid shirt or the same red shirt, they might or might not appear in it. That's way less important to us than getting the core of who these people are and the core of their journey. Things sometimes stay pretty close. It's funny to see my dialogue there from the games in HBO scripts, and sometimes they deviate greatly to much better effect because we are dealing with a different medium. For example, in the game, there's so much action you have to train the player about mechanics. You have to have more violence and more spectacle to some degree than you would need on a TV show because you don't need to train people on how to use a gun. So that's something that's really been different, and HBO has been great in pushing us to move away from hardcore action and focus more on the drama of the characters. Some of my favorite episodes so far have deviated greatly from the story, and I can't wait for people to see them."
There we go. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
More side characters, more side content.
Exactly. Do you think there is a chance that they might like show Ishmael's story?
I think Ish will likely play a big role into it. Yeah,
I agree.
That would be really cool, in my opinion, if they developed those journal entries into characters on the show and showing that journey through flashbacks or whatever. I think they could do some powerful things with that. It's clearly got to go beyond just Joel and Ellie, because in a video game, like, there's no real way around that. You control Joel. Of course, you're going to be with him and by extension Ellie the entire game. But a TV show in this medium, they could do so many things. They could do Fireflies. They could do research, a scientist researching into how to battle this, and there's just so many directions they could go. But that's kind of why I'm surprised, though, that they're going to be able to fit the whole first game in one season with these extensions and these deviations. Hope they're able to accomplish it. I'm excited, though. I know Neil Druckmann's excited, so that gets me excited. And there you have it, guys. With 5 seconds left. We did it. Speed run complete. That is the show, everybody. The final episode of Season 1. If you enjoyed the show, please join us again live next month. Hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/levelupshow. Turn notifications. Make sure you get those alerts whenever we go live with game streams or talk shows. If you're watching or listening to this as an archive, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or whichever is your service of choice. Also, very important, as you saw tonight on this episode, Discord is essential to the interactivity of our shows. So join us at discord.gg/levelupnetwork. Become a part of the community even when we are not live. Season 2's channel will be going up tonight, so you can check out all of that merch and everything to come for Season 2, which we are really excited about, focused on Metal Gear Solid. Make sure that you get your submissions in for Fake Fans, NLG's Got Game, How You Reviewing, Halftime Hedge, and finish Season 1 strong. There's 10 days left for you to earn SP, earn hours, and try and take that #1 spot away from Dirac so that you can get the $100 PSN card, or activate past merch, or have early access to Season 2 merch. Lastly, we do have some major shout-outs coming from Tom.
That's right, Drew. We must thank those who go above and beyond to support this show and make it possible. Our producers supporting at $25 and above, either here on Twitch or on Patreon. They are Agent Vincent 4756, what a guy. Boz 023S or 023s, and Dirac 11. Remember, friends, if you would like to become a producer to support the show, pledge $25 or above here on Twitch or on Patreon.
Thank you, Tom. And speaking of Asian Vincent and Tom, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button or follow button at their channels. They are amazing streamers. Type in !Vince in chat and !Tom in chat to get the link to their channels. That is a wrap on Season 1. Next month, April 18th, starts Season 2, focused on Metal Gear Solid, you guys. And we're just so excited. As I said, check out all the stuff going up on Season 2. I'll do that after our after show, which, by the way, is happening. I do want to point out this is not the end of the show technically, because right after credits roll, I will come back. Vince, you are welcome to. Tom, I know you're going to get some sleep, but you guys are welcome to stick around. After show is all about having a hangout, talking about games, movies, television, really whatever you want, listening to some music. I'll turn off archive audio so that we can do song requests even if you guys want, and it's really just chilling out after the show, since we don't really get a great opportunity to answer you guys during this really heavy agenda. So thank you so much. Each episode of Next Level Gamescast does end with a final word. We call this segment One More Level. And this month we have Tom taking the floor to talk about VR.
You say VR. But I am going to talk about Evo first.
Oh, you're not going to talk about VR? I thought you were going to talk about VR.
I was going to talk about Evo.
Oh, do whatever you want, man. It's your floor. I'm sorry.
I'll talk about VR in a second. I'm going to go through this very quickly because I am draining real quick, and I got to be up in 3 hours. So, with that being said, what we got an announcement very late in the preparation of the show. Evo, the Evolution of Fighting tournament, which is probably one of the biggest events in gaming, period, which we lost out on seeing last year due to some allegations being thrown out about some of the co-founders regarding potential sexual harassment and abuse over the years. We did not have Evo last year. This year, Evo is coming back, but it's with one big new addition in the joint partnership of Sony Interactive Entertainment and RTS. Sony has, in partnership with RTS, bought Evo. Evo is now a Sony property. What does this mean? I know I saw a lot of people getting worried about what this means, whether it means that we're only going to be able to see games that are PlayStation only, or if we're going to never see Smash there again, or never going to see Killer Instinct at this event ever again. And what we did get some confirmation from Sony and RTS was that they are not going to keep it solely to PlayStation consoles. While PlayStation will likely be marketed heavily there are certain games like Tekken 7 that have a very large PC community that is still going to be supported at Evo. So this, I feel like, is a great opportunity for Evo to expand now with having PlayStation as a brand to back it and give it a little bit more legitimacy. And PlayStation, while we've talked about already tonight on this show about how Microsoft is buying up companies and trying to stake its claim in that forum, it's very clear that Sony, for the past couple of years now, and definitely now very much so with this, has trying to establish itself as the place for fighting games.
Yeah.
Now, whether that means we're ever going to see Killer Instinct on a PlayStation console, I likely doubt it. I know there's a lot of big KI fans, and KI is definitely something that wants to be on, that would want to be at Evo. And I'm sure, given the statement that was given out, it seems like Xbox consoles will be there. Nintendo has, as always, they have put out a statement saying they will assess whether or not they're going to do anything with Evo. Look, at the end of the day, they're probably going to be there. But look, the long and short of this is that I think this is a great move for Evo. This is a great move for PlayStation in particular to establish itself as the place for this community, albeit a niche community, but is a community nonetheless that is extremely passionate about their games. And this is going to hopefully help foster as well a lot of indie games coming out, like Skullgirls, like Them's Fighting Herds, for instance. Like there's a whole bunch of different fighting games, and those fighting games with great netcode, by the way. So hopefully, I would hope that Sony continues on in this push to help out the fighting game community. It's a community that, while I am not a very big participant in, I am a fan of, and I am a big consumer of fighting game tournaments and what goes on within the FGC. So I am extremely excited. I think you all should be too. This is going to bring a lot of legitimacy, I think, to this section of gaming and help promote it into a new stratosphere. And very quickly on VR, because I mentioned it in some of our meetings beforehand. Originally, I was supposed to take the VR topic this month. I refused to do it because, frankly, everybody, I think VR is a complete gimmick. I do not care about VR up until the point where we get into Ready Player One / Sword Art Online / Log Horizon territory, where we can just go straight up goodbye world, and I don't have to even acknowledge that I am still a living being in this reality that we have here, and I can live within the VR sphere. If that happens, then wake me up. But frankly, any announcement, great for the controllers, good for them. I could not care less. It does not mean anything to me. I'm not going to put the stupid thing on my head to play the games. Just give me the controller, give me a good screen, and I'm happy.
All right. There you have it, you guys.
There you go.
Tom hates VR.
I'm hurt again, Tom.
Before we officially end the show, I do want to make sure I do a goal wheel spin for that huge $60 tip. We hit our daily tip goal, and some of you guys might be heading out before after show. So here is a goal wheel spin for everybody in the room. And we have... Oh, could be a big one. Could be... Oh, it's 500. 500 seasonal points to everybody in the entire room. Way to go, room. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, we hope to see you back next month, April 18th, for Season 2, Episode 1 of Next Level Gamescast, when we take things to the next level. Until then, take care, and as always, don't forget to...
Level up.
Level up, everybody.